at these hearings, they present just enough evidence to get to the probable cause. The reason why they do that is because the prosecutors are at a severe disadvantage. They don't need to give all the evidence so that the defense knows how to prepare for trial at the preliminary hearing. I've said all along, like, this is not going well for Tyler Robinson. His attorneys probably should have just waived the preliminary hearing and just gone straight to trial, but they're trying to get an understanding of the evidence, and what they're really trying to do is put in pre-contextual mitigation statements to mitigate against the death penalty, like he turned himself in, but that works against them, because if he was an innocent person, why would he turn himself into the police? They're gonna have to create a narrative, around that, and explain his actions of why he would turn
Maybe
himself in.
because he's scared to get shot in the head.
Sure, I know they're gonna have to explain it, but that's not a rational explanation.
You think it's going well for the Utah
That's not
County's
a
attorney's
rational.
office? Is that what you're implying? Because day one was humiliating, dude. They brought up footage. I mean, the fact that we're even sitting here speculating who he is, what his height was down to the millimeter, like
It's not down
talking
to the
about.
No,
millimeter.
we're
Why are you asking like
speculating
it's
about
so
that because
outrageous?
like
Okay,
you guys
they're alleging that
decided
a
to
photo looks
fixate
like a
on that.
guy, and we are assessing whether or not he is that guy. That's not crazy. That's not conspiracy behavior. That's normal behavior, gentlemen. Normal
How
behavior.
are there not high resolution? They should be able to zoom in on every pore on that
Let's talk
kid's
about the
skin
high
with the amount of high
resolution
resolution photos that or
photos and
video
videos.
capabilities
I
they
mean,
had.
have you actually been around like a real crime, or do you just watch CSI? Like, no, in real life we don't have an
I don't
HD
watch
camera.
cable. No one watches cable. I think
Okay,
that's your
well,
problem. I
real
think you're
life
being
we don't
infiltrated.
Watches
have
Okay,
Tuesday.
everyone, hang on,
in
time
real
out.
life
Okay, time
in
out,
real
time out.
life
Everyone,
we
time out.
don't have a 4K camera of everything
Okay, time
ever.
out.
They actually have lower resolution cameras
Okay,
of things.
Oh yeah, that's what, bro.
listen.
You've never obviously seen anything. I don't know. Sorry, that was rude.
Look, even if
I
even if
got
the
passionate. I got
surveillance
fired up.
footage,
No, it's
even if
okay.
the
Listen.
surveillance cameras are 4K, that's over a 360 degrees or whatever they are, or at least 270. So that's not a 4K image. Just like if you have a 360 camera and it says it's 4K, you're getting like 1080p at best at those, and then it's variable shutter speed. It's completely automatic. Those are not good. I mean, those are not like high dollar systems. I don't even know how old they are, and we don't know what the resolution of those things are. But
My high school camera had you could
great,
zoom in on a ladybug on a blade of grass from
okay,
500
that
yards
wasn't your high
away.
school camera. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You might have had better high school cameras than that. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't prove anything. The question is why was Tyler Robinson there 3.5 hours away? Why was his car there? Why did he clearly get out of his car? We can see the person that gets out of the car. We track. They're going to have his movements tracked from point A to point B. And to sit here and say, well, we can't see who's on the roof. No, but we've seen where Tyler is. We've tracked him the entire time. We see that it's him to get on the roof.
Dude,
And
it's
I
so
think
easy to put a phone on someone and say that it's
I'm
someone's
not I'm not I'm
phone.
not talking about a phone. I'm talking
I'm
about
talking about the
visually tracking these
metadata
people.
associated for us to say
That's not what I
exactly where
said.
he was. That was not a
I mean,
portion of the conversation. Sorry, I
Okay,
guess.
so wait, hold on. Can you name an example, like in a murder case, where like they did that, or they framed them by putting metadata on their phone illegally to frame a random person
I'm
who,
not saying
I
putting the
guess,
metadata
also.
illegally on the phone, Blake. I'm stating that that it would be an easy thing to plant, right? I don't need a proof in
What do you
order
mean it would
for
be an
it.
easy thing to? Wouldn't they be? Couldn't they actually catch that? Like, how many people need to be in on this happening?
Can I
I
ask
don't think,
Blakey
yeah, you
from
should.
another Blakey? This Blakey wants to talk to that Blakey. Can this Blakey do that real quick? Hey man, um, just curious. Have you seen my Judas Harpole video? And I'm curious what you think of it.
I have never heard of this video, and I have no idea who you are.
Okay.
If I send it to you, will you watch it?
Probably not. I mean,
That's
Judas
fair.
Harpole. I mean, I know Brian Harpole, and I don't think he was a Judas, so I think that sounds like a pretty dumb video.
He's not squeezing something underneath his arm.
He's not. You're going for like coded messages on their arms now. Like,
No,
I
not coded messages, like an actual squeeze, like a squeeze, like he
Blake Neff,
squeezes.
let me get you up to speed. Blake Bednarz is kind of the biggest proponent of the exploding mic theory, and he believes that there's a device
Pendant,
underneath.
pendant.
Okay, pendant. We switched to pendant back in like December. It was a mic. We move it on to pendant, but he believes that
That
Brian
shows
Harpole.
growth.
He believes that Brian Harple is squeezing the device underneath his arm to set off the exploding ended.
Okay, why would you believe that when it's like extremely obvious that Charlie was shot by a bullet?
Is it?
Is
Yes.
it?
Hey,
Yes, it
bonus. I
is.
was there. I was there. So since I was there, I know that
Did
the
you see it?
extremely loud crack happened in front of me, which was facing out towards the crowd. So the
Hey,
giant crack
Blake,
So
sound.
you know that that.
Blakey. I will. Can I offer you this? I
No.
will donate $10,000 to Turning Point, whichever Turning Point um, organization that you want, or I'll do 15,000. Okay, if you will agree to do a 1 hour show where you just sit and watch me present something, would you do that?
First of all, like I'd actually probably want you to get that shit in writing before I would even consider it.
That's
Like
fine.
real writing. Like get a lawyer to draft that out. Then maybe I'd think about it. 15,000 is a lot.
Okay, 15,000's a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean
Uh,
you guys lie all the time. So like
no, I'm just gonna show you video.
you're gonna show me video.
Yeah. Will you do it? Or I'll send it to you. Deal? And I'll stop posting the ambiguously gay duo of you and Andrew. I
Blake,
promise.
I think what he's saying is before he would take you seriously at all, he would want to see something in writing by a lawyer official saying that you're going to donate
Absolutely.
$15,000. There you go.
Absolutely.
Get
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
and then I think from that point, he has a decision to make.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Where is the SUV? Do you know where it is?
The SUV that like Charlie was in?
That would be the one I'm referring to, yes.
I have no idea. I don't even know
Why
if
not?
they probably rented it.
But it was auctioned off, correct?
I've heard people talk about that. It's possible. I have no idea.
When you got out of the car, what was the
Oh,
string that
sorry,
you were holding?
Charlotte. Sorry. So I talked to the person who gave the pictures to Candace. His name is Mike. So the employee that was cleaning said it was auctioned. It came from California to Utah, back to California. Is that correct? Or
I have
you don't
no
know?
idea. I didn't book the car.
She's not on the security team.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I'm just asking a question.
Diligent, just come in. I'm sorry,
I'm just
Allie.
asking a
No,
question
you're
to
good.
see if he knows because it's a part of the crime scene. So
He
what
just said
I'm
he doesn't.
okay. So I'm just asking, is that okay?
I mean, probably because generally what you'll find with things that are involved in a crime scene, especially something large, is the police officers will photograph it, they will document it, and then once they've done that, they don't like you don't need to keep the entire SUV in cold storage for 3 years. Like
But we're
that's
keeping
what you do
cell
with
So
a
what
phones
about the
car.
neck? What
and
about Erica's necklace or Charlie's necklace? How
I
did
have
that?
we're
no
keeping
idea.
other
I
things.
suspect they didn't feel any need to keep that necklace because the theory that it was used as an exploding microphone or whatever, or an exploding necklace, I will be frank, is really stupid.
No one believes that actually, literally, but it is one of the most significant gaps in the case, and I'm posing this to everybody, is the chemical composition of the necklace. Is it silver or is
Oh
it
my
stainless steel? And
God.
that does matter. Yeah, call me
I'm
crazy,
Hey,
but
curious.
Tara, can I jump in here?
Have you ever been advised by a physician to seek treatment for delusions and or other
Blake, I have a question. Do you know why or if the FBI ever examined Charlie Kirk's phone? Or did it go straight to Erica?
I can't speak to that.
You
why did
can't
we?
speak to that? Why? I really seriously doubt that you don't know the answer to that question.
I don't own Charlie's phone. I did not assess it for the FBI.
But if it didn't, would you think that was a problem?
Let's
Not
not
really.
dogpile him.
What does like actually know? Like what would them assessing
The
Charlie's
first the
phone?
first thing they do in a homicide case is take the victim's phone and the suspect's phone. It's the very first thing they do to see if there had been prior threats or prior engagement between the two.
Well,
Right? This is standard operating
I don't
procedure.
know.
So why would Erica Kirk have his phone without and not the FBI when there's a murder case involved?
Why would she have
Especially when there were
his phone?
especially when there were credible threats against his life in the weeks leading up to his assassination.
Well, perhaps that they searched Tyler Robinson's phone and didn't find anything. I don't know. It's not my job.
Can I jump in here, Tara?
That doesn't make
Yeah, just jump in whenever. Just make sure like you guys don't cut each
Yeah, we
other.
don't need a dog pile him. It's okay.
Can
He's
I,
being
yeah, can I
respectful.
apologize to Blake Neff?
Miss
Sorry, I karate chopped you with my voice.
Yeah, just make sure everybody has their own
Yeah.
space.
Miss
You know what I mean?
Mr. Neff, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you extending your time to us to speak to us. I wanted to ask you about the stuff that you do know about. Can I do that?
I guess I may or may not know it.
Sure. I just want to ask you about what happened on the day. So when you arrived at UVU, what happened?
I arrived at UVU shortly before the event. I came in that day with Charlie. He had an event that he was speaking at, some sort of like small business association, something like that. It was a small event. He went and spoke at that. I didn't actually go to that. I was like, we were doing the show, and I think I was like listening in on the show when we were putting up the episode, something like that. I think is what I was doing. Whatever it was, we had two SUVs, and I was in one of them, and I was just kind of chilling in that SUV while he gave the speech. And then we drove up to the event. Throughout this, I was only ever in the other SUV. So, there were two of them. I wasn't in the one Charlie was in. And then we got to the event probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before Charlie went out. And so I was in the space by the tent, kind of behind the cordon, so where we had all the Turning Point people. And Charlie started taking questions. I was kind of pacing around behind the tent for a little bit, just on the phone. I mean, I'd been to these events before, so I usually didn't pay ultra close attention to everything Charlie was saying.
What is your role at these events?
What do you mean?
Do
Do you
you
usually
have
go to the events?
responsibilities there or?
Let me think. So usually not during the event itself. So sometimes I was helping Charlie prep before. This is our first one of the season, and so we were like nervous about stuff that might pop up. So I had prepped with him the night before on potential tough topics. I prepped with him on the flight down. That was kind of the main reason I was there, I think, besides it just being the opening one, so more people would sometimes show up at that.
What was the topic that you prepped him with the night before?
I prepped him on a variety of things. We talked about faith topics. We actually did prep, like, if you got any weird questions on just like Christian doctrine, because it's a Mormon campus. We prepped about Israel stuff. We prepped about if he got asked why he wouldn't debate Nick Fuentes. Those are the main ones I remember.
Were you in
So
the I'm sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
so Charlie comes out, then what happens?
Charlie comes out. He starts answering questions. I remember maybe the first question, if not, it was a very early one, was asking him, like, it was like kind of an extended back and forth about Mormonism versus Protestantism. That went for a while. I want to say like 10 minutes or so. And then either the next question or the one after it was, of course, starts asking about the transgender shootings. At that point, I'd moved sort of towards the front and to the left of where Charlie was speaking. So that's why I'm like on some of the videos of what happened. I believe I was just like looking at my phone at that time. And then I heard a very loud crack, like a really loud crack.
Before we get to that, can I ask you the audio stuff that was going on? There was a lot of coordination going on in the minutes before the shot. Do you know anything about that?
Coordination of what sort?
Yeah,
Meaning a lot of
there
people
was.
were talking to each other. There seemed to maybe be a technical issue. Do you know anything about that?
Charlie was saying, I can't
Not that I
hear.
know of.
Okay, thank you. And then the shot comes out. What are you thinking as you hear the shot go out?
The very loud crack. I mean, it was just very abrupt, and so, like I said, it sounded like a really loud, like firework is what I would say. And it was in front of me, so I snapped my head up and I looked straight in front of me. Like, I kind of thought it came from the crowd initially, so I was like looking in the crowd. I even remember, like, in the moment thinking like, "Oh,
Weren't you
do I see
behind?
what's that?"
Didn't you say you were behind the tent?
No, I was pacing behind the tent during the Mormonism question, and then I kind of moved out to the left of where Charlie was, left facing outward, so it'd be to his right if you were.
Yeah, I know where it was. Yep.
And that's where I was when the shot went off. I'd say probably like 20, 25 feet to Charlie's left. And I hear the crack. I look straight up, and I don't like see anything. And so then I look to my right and I see Charlie. Well, you can probably imagine what I saw, and I pretty quickly realized he'd been shot. And then I initially, like I said, I thought it came from the crowd. So what I initially thought the moment it happened was I thought that since the guy was asking about transgender shooters, I kind of, my initial thought was that the guy asking the question had done something like, how many transgender shooters have there been? And then he like pulls out a handgun and goes, one more, and like shoots Charlie, is what I kind of thought had happened. Because like I said, I wasn't paying ultra close attention, so I didn't hear like
Did it
the last
sound?
was.
I've interviewed probably half a dozen students that were in the crowd in various locations that day. It's recorded. Like I recorded all of these interviews at UVU, and actually all of them described it as more of a firecracker or firework sound as opposed to a loud gunshot. Would you agree with that perception?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I'm not actually a regular rifle shooter, so I don't know what.
Weren't you in the service?
What's that?
Weren't you in the service? Or am I
No,
mistaken?
no. People just make stuff up because they push a bunch of deranged.
That's why I asked. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no. I've
Hey Blake, I
So
have a respectful,
when
just super simple question. I feel like is pretty paramount as well. Who was drive? Do you know who was driving the Charlie's SUV?
I don't remember.
Coming
I wasn't.
coming
It
His name
wasn't
is
into.
the
Chris.
SUV, it was probably just either. Honestly,
How do
I
you
can't
not
remember. I feel
know?
like there was usually some security guy who drove it, but I don't know who it was that day.
Was it
I
a
know that
security guy named Chris by chance?
I don't know.
Christopher?
I
Christopher.
genuinely don't know.
Did
Also,
you
so as the
call?
your
shot goes
account
out,
of your
No.
so
account of that hearing that noise was like very oddly
This is
specific.
if we can just break this up so like other people can ask questions a little bit too, right? Instead of like having a whole biography of what happened all at once. I was
Right.
curious. You said that you heard the gunshot. Did you make a phone call? Did you call 911?
I didn't call 911. I actually remember having that thought and then having a thought that that would be pretty pointless because there were a trillion people there, including actual police officers. In fact, when I fled out the back, I passed by a police officer who was like kind of guarding the back entrance. And I remember going by him, and he was confused. He didn't know what had happened. And I remember saying to him something like, I think I said shooter to him, or like,
Do you think the whole team had that same thought? Because I don't. Did anybody call 911?
I have no idea. I don't think 911 response time was a particularly big concern in that event. I heard sirens basically immediately.
So somebody gets shot and nobody calls 911. Not one person in the team.
I have no idea. I'm saying I didn't call 911,
No,
but
we know
quite a few.
nobody.
I just want to hear what he has to say about it. I know what we know, but I want to hear his position. He's saying he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know.
I don't.
First
I
responders were
find that
there.
astonishing. I see people call 911 over very trivial things.
Okay.
So for
Well,
someone to get shot
as I
publicly and
said,
for no one to call
told you,
911
the
seems
first
insane.
person I spoke to within 5 seconds of this happening was a police officer who was at the scene. So I kind of would like to ask you what value add you think would come from me at that point calling 911 when I have told a police officer at the scene what has just happened.
Okay,
Because
that seems
you
fair.
can call in an ambulance, you can report the incident that occurred. There's a lot of reasons why you
But
alert
diligent.
alert
And
dispatch
okay,
as
like
to.
I've got a question. Like,
There's
do you
cops
remember
there though. There's
9/11?
cops there,
Like,
right?
do you
So
remember 9/11?
Yeah, but there wasn't an ambulance there.
I'm
But
asking
that's
you,
not
do you
Blake's fault.
remember 9/11? Like, did you see the plane fly into the building on 9/11?
No, Blake.
Well, a lot of people did. And do you think all of them were like derelict to their duty that they didn't call 911 after they saw the plane slam into the building on TV?
Well, are you
can I
talking about the people who were around or the ones who saw it on
No, I mean the
TV?
people who saw it on TV. I don't see why there'd be a difference here.
Did you watch this happen on TV or were you actually there?
I was actually
This is
there
a dumb question.
with many thousands of other people, including numerous police officers.
sorry,
But
can
there
I
was
ask
no
you
ambulance. Did you know that there was no ambulance there?
I have no idea whether there was an ambulance there or not.
You
That
didn't
really
see
wouldn't.
one. You didn't see one when you arrived. We saw the police vehicles. You saw the police officer. But did you see an ambulance?
No,
Right.
they're
It's a
That's not really up to
major.
him.
supposed to be an
Hey Blake,
ambulance at
Blake,
like any
did you know that
event.
he was dead immediately? Like Terrell knew he was dead immediately. Like, did you share the same sentiment?
I did not. I did not know.
so as the
Blake,
shot
I
did,
could see
goes
that.
out,
I could see that Charlie
why was
got
Terrell there?
back. I did not like. I would not. I would not have the ability to say whether he'd been like killed instantly or anything like that. suspected he was wounded very badly because he was hit in the neck. So I remember having the thought as I was kind of still in the area, like, what if he survives but is like paralyzed or something really bad like that?
So
Okay, so
there was a whole bunch of team members that weren't.
you don't know
Allie,
where the SUV is, and you don't know who drove Charlie in. I'm kind of worried about that because
that's not his job. Can I ask a question,
Why
please?
would I have to know that?
I mean,
Am I
shouldn't you know who's
Can
driving
you
I
stop
have a
Charlie?
question.
answering for
I'm
him,
going to
Charlie?
Am I
speak.
his
You don't need
booker?
to speak for him though, right? Let him
I have a
answer his own
question I would
questions.
like to ask. So everybody, please give me the space to
Okay,
ask.
go ahead. Go
Blake.
ahead.
Okay, visual impulse. So, Terrell is
Terrell
usually not there.
Farnsworth.
He's usually not there, right? And then there was, you got to know who's there. So that's
I'm
super
not sure
important. And
how
there were
often
hired
Terrell is
people.
there. Terrell
Andrew
is.
Karachi was there, hired. He's not usually typically there. So that's where I just wanted to know. There were some new people on the scene, and what about them?
Well, I mean, first of all, to say Terrell is usually not there, I actually don't know the frequency that he was at our events, but that was certainly not the first time he was at an event. Terrell has been with Turning Point and with Charlie for a very long time. I'd say at
Someone
least,
who worked in the camera crew told me that he doesn't usually go to those,
I mean,
and
again,
he doesn't.
maybe he doesn't go to all, he probably doesn't go to all of them, but first of all, like, this was the first one of the year. This was going to be our largest tour. This was going to be one of our largest events. There was
Where
a
was
lot
it
of
being
reasons for him to be at
broadcasted?
that specific one, and he's also at all of our big events. Like, Terrell goes to a lot of things. Terrell travels quite often.
Were you live
Okay, someone
streaming
also
it?
wanted to ask about what you were talking about him with Charlie about Israel. What were you prepping about regarding Israel?
I mean, Israel is a big topic if you haven't noticed, so we were prepping.
Yeah, specifically.
You got questions about it?
Were you a part of the group chat
Well, yeah,
that
they were asking
where
what specifically.
were you a part of the group chat where he sent the message that he was leaving the pro-Israel cause
I was
2
not a
days
part.
before he was assassinated?
I was not part of that group chat.
Were you aware that Harrison Smith said that someone close to Charlie at TPUSA 3 weeks before that said that Charlie thought if he left the pro-Israel cause that they would kill him?
I certainly did not ever hear anything like that myself. In fact, the only people I heard Charlie Murray would kill him
Are
explicitly.
you aware of it now? Were you aware of it before I asked you?
I've heard some allegation to that effect, but I have never
I
saw
mean, it was
myself.
posted publicly 3 weeks before Charlie died. So it doesn't even matter if someone that you know can verify that they said it was true.
How can you
That
verify that
he
what
said it.
Harrelson
Why
said
would
was
He
why
true?
said
does
it.
that? Why does
It doesn't matter
take
because
his
of the
word? Why
the
just believe it?
chronological proximity. 3 weeks before he died, we were told by a mutual that if he left the pro-Israel cause, he was going to get killed. 2 days before he left, or 2 days before he was assassinated, he said he was leaving the pro-Israel cause, and then 2 days later, he's dead. Right?
Well,
You don't think
okay.
that's significant,
Look,
Blake?
days before he was dead, he also told me that the trannies were going to kill him. So take your pick.
What?
Were you live streaming it that day?
Live streaming? I don't believe so. Maybe we were, but I don't think so.
Where?
They all,
No,
they
no.
all,
You
of course they
like
were. They said
it.
it.
Sorry,
We
you
see
weren't
an
live.
HDMI cable going into the LU-300 Israeli unit, which I'm not being anti-Semitic here. I love Jews. I love Torah. I love Mormons too. But my point is the yeah, I shouldn't have said the Israeli part. But you certainly had the capabilities to go live. You had two cellular bonding units on the AV table, and
I
they were
wasn't
both
debating whether we had the
active.
ability to go live. I just am not sure because I don't know that we
So how do
always
you not
live
know that?
streamed
Who
those.
was
I
watching?
genuinely don't remember because
How can you not
usually
remember?
I was
Who
not
works
watching them
It was
here?
the
live while they
first. It
happened.
was the
Like if I
first
wasn't
event of the
personally
season,
there,
man.
If we can't
but
hear both of you
usually we
talking
would
at the
cut them
same
up.
time,
We
let him
would
finish.
upload videos of it. We would release the audio of it. Like we would release it in a million different ways. I just don't recall if it was actually being live streamed because certainly not all of those were live streamed.
Well, the
So
FBI didn't have it
this is
until
my
May and
concern. You
June
don't seem
of
to
this
know a
year.
lot
So
for you think it's Tyler Robinson. You don't seem to know all the facts. Like there's a lot of things that you don't know.
What exactly are you upset about? Like whether I don't know whether we were live streaming or not. That's a completely
Hang
You don't
on,
know all
different
listen,
kinds of
hang
things.
on.
Yeah.
Time out, time out, time out. You guys, please don't talk over each other. Like, let's finish. Like, just finish your sentence, and I just don't want anyone to fight. I want to hear all of you, right? So let's just try to go there. Okay. Are you guys good?
That's good, Cajun Queen. Thank you.
Okay. Come on, Blake. What you got from Utah?
What do I
I'm
got?
here. I'm looking for Blakey.
Where
Hey,
is he?
earlier you guys were asking about the SD cards, and Blake may be able to give you some clarification on that. Blake,
I have a question about it.
I had heard
So
months ago
go ahead.
that at the when everything had kind of calmed down, they pulled everybody up into a room, and police started questioning. People started handing over pictures, video, and SD cards and things like that.
Who said this? You or Blake?
I just said that earlier, but what I'm telling you, that was told to me by
How
people
do
that were
you
there
know that?
because I've talked to multiple eyewitnesses that were there.
Well, Blake was there, right?
That's my
I was
point. I'm
there.
asking
I didn't
Blake.
have a recording to give them, so I was not involved
I
in
mean,
that.
it sounds
Whatever
like
it
you're
happened.
giving a version of the story and then you're asking Blake. So which is
I
it?
just sat there and
Blake,
said that I was told this. He can confirm or deny that. Like, why are you such a dick?
Blake Neff, give him a minute
Bro,
to respond.
I'm
Like,
not
just give
being a dick. I'm
No,
not calling you
you are
names,
being a
not talking
dick,
shit.
and like there's no
Now
reason
you're
for it.
deflecting.
No, I'm not
Blake
deflecting. You're just
Blake Neff. Hold on, time out. This is my space. Blake Neff, give him a minute. Like, let him respond, and then you can counteract that. Okay? I have 14 requests for speakers, and I know there's plenty of people that's pissed. Like, because I just can't have them up. I can't. I want to, but I can't. So let's just not be disrespectful to the other person, right? So please, I'm asking you to be nice.
So Blake, the do you know much about the SD cards that were taken by Terrell Farnsworth?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, like, what am I supposed to know? I'm not a technical
That
tech
hasn't
guy.
come up
So
around the coffee pot, like at the office.
what?
Like y'all haven't talked about it at the office.
You guys literally talked
I mean,
about it.
I've talked to
You and
Daryl to offer like moral
And Tucker,
support.
remember Tucker?
Blake
yeah,
is
you talked
echoing.
about it.
I know who
Yeah, there's
Tucker
too many
is.
people
Yeah,
talking at once. You had a conversation with Andrew Colbert and Tucker and you about the SD card, correct?
I don't
You were sitting there. It's recorded.
like. What was this like our
You
show
don't
next week or
remember
something?
Tucker? You're sitting there with Tucker and Andrew Colbert and don't remember having this conversation?
I mean,
You
when did this
participated.
conversation occur? I've had a lot of conversations, and
I've had a lot of conversations too, but I remember it.
you remember all of your conversations ever? Like
I remember
you're
most of
expecting
them.
me to know things that you have fixated on. I
Okay, so
probably
let
have
me
talked
ask you
about.
this: Do you know that Terrell Farnsworth took SD cards from the cameras at the crime scene?
Yes, I know he took SD cards
Okay,
out of the cameras because people have flipped out about it for a year now.
okay, and then do you know what happened? So he handed them off to Phillips. Is it Goldsberry? Is that his name? Goldsberry. I got it right. He handed them off to Phillips Goldsberry behind the tent, like a drug deal. Do you know why that went down like that?
I don't know because he wanted Philip to keep it.
So he hands it off to him sideways, like very conspicuously. You don't think that's strange?
No,
No.
why would
Okay.
that?
And
No,
so
I'm actually going to push back on this. Like, you
go ahead.
guys ask these bizarre questions, like, why don't I know who the driver of the car is? Why
I
did
asked you
Daryl
what you
Farnsworth
knew.
give an SD card to a
I
different
asked you.
employee of his company? Why
I have a
don't we know
question
the
that's
medical
not
I
bizarre.
led
condition
with
of
I
this
built a
necklace?
foundation and I
And I'm
said,
going to
did you
push back
know
on this
that
because no, I don't think it's weird because since I was there and since I, you know, don't have a lithium deficit, I
Mhm.
see that Charlie was
do I
trying to
sound
buy a
particularly insane to you?
and that the evidence lines up quite well. And the idea that Terrell Farnsworth, a person I have known for years, and his family, the idea that they were
I'm
involved
not
in some
blaming him for anything.
conspiracy,
I'm trying to figure
the
out why
idea
he
that they
did
were
what he did.
involved in some conspiracy to murder Charlie is completely
I've
preposterous.
never made that claim. I've never
Furthermore,
made that claim.
furthermore, the idea that them taking the SD cards are a key part of any conspiracy is itself really preposterous and doesn't make sense, and nobody has ever been able to describe this in a way
Anybody
that is
knows that you
coherent.
don't disturb key evidence at a crime scene. Any retard
It
that has
wasn't a crime scene.
a fifth grade level
Wait, it wasn't a
education.
crime scene?
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't a
It
crime
wasn't
scene?
designated a
Okay,
crime scene
It
until it was
wasn't a
designated a
crime
crime scene.
scene. Oh, if you didn't know that
So
it
well,
was
no
a
crime
you know
occurred.
homicide.
what? You
You
know
didn't.
who has the expertise to decide whether someone disturbed a crime scene such that it deserves censure? The police. And what have the police not done? They've never charged Terrell Farnsworth with disturbing a crime scene. And as far as I know, they've never fined.
Is it the same FBI institution that was arresting Trump and raiding his house? Are these the same institutions that we're now putting blind trust in, Blake?
I don't know that the Orem Police Department ever raided Donald Trump. So
Didn't the FBI handle most of the evidence in this case? We
I'm
heard that
sure the
today,
FBI
and
helped, but they're
you watched
in
the
the
live
front.
stream today,
The FBI would have only
right?
gotten there a little while after the shooting happened. They wouldn't be involved in immediately securing the crime scene.
They were
I have
there
a
that day.
question.
Okay, they were there that day. Well, were they there that minute? Because that's
So
when
you said that you knew Terrell took it. The reason why I asked you that is because I'm trying to figure out, right, why Terrell didn't give them the original SD cards. He turned in a flash drive and then he gave them a Google Drive link. If you SD cards that fit in those cameras are micro SD cards. You know that, I know that. Anybody with a brain knows that. They're not full-size computer flash drives. So he transferred the video content from the SD card to the flash drive, which means that the police, the defense, the prosecution, nobody has the original. That's the problem with him taking the SD cards, right? Is that there needs to be a chain of custody for evidence like that. Those are the closest cameras to Charlie Kirk when he died. They have the best perspective as to what really happened. And instead of them leaving in the hands of the police or the FBI, they walked off in the hands of Charlie Kirk's staff. That's a problem.
No, it's not really, because they turned them in later.
Get off the gas, girl. No, that's not right, man.
Why is
That's
that
not right,
right?
Blake.
Well, okay, Terrell's stated reason for why he did that is because there was a big scene of chaos and mayhem, and he didn't want someone to possibly run off with the camera, or who knows, run off with the SD card, and so he secured it before they all
There was
Why?
7 police
Why?
officers standing around him when he did that. 7.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I
Diligent.
have a question.
If
I
let's
have a
say
question
And
here.
on top of
Diligent,
this,
if he gave him the SD cards right away,
iota of evidence at any point that the video actually was edited, or explain how he would do that in a plausible way without
You cannot
would even because
you can't
there
transfer
has
that
no,
file from one place to
no
another
point.
without
Has
losing
it
data.
actually been important that that video, however HD it is, actually is conclusive proof of what Tyler Robinson did? Because we have
Do
a
you
bunch of other evidence that that's
Okay,
not.
there's a
but
problem here.
if there was another explanation other
When
than
people
Tyler
raise their
Robinson,
hands,
if there was another explanation other than Tyler Robinson and it was captured on one of those cameras and that video footage has been altered, we will never know. And I think that's exactly why, in my opinion, that's
Well, wouldn't we
exactly why
actually
that
be able to
footage left the
detect it, for
scene.
example, wouldn't we actually be able to detect it, for instance, because there are dozens of other videos of it from different angles,
Lower
and if that
quality
video
phone cameras further
Diligent, if
away.
there was an FBI agent right there that Terrell handed it over to it, by your logic, it would have been manipulated anyhow because the FBI was in on it, and you can't trust the FBI. So
The
what do you
FBI,
care?
he did not turn it over.
Okay,
He did
guys,
not.
What do you
It's
care
about chain
listen,
of
we're not.
custody.
about anything?
It's
The chain
about
of
chain of
custody.
custody because the metadata would have been recorded when the
The
FBI agent
metadata is
received
still
it.
on the car.
Hey, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
It's a back and forth.
Everybody needs to take a timeout for just a minute. This is ridiculous, right? So we have a few speakers that's up. So Myron is up. We have Blake. We have Muppet. We have Corby. He has a question. So let's just take a breath for a minute and then we can go back to it. But we're not going to have this fighting, okay? Okay, so who wants to come up and please, let's not overtalk each other.
Baron has a question. Whenever you get a chance, I'll put my hand up.
Yeah, so I have 16 requests. It's grown since then. So
I
I don't.
just have some detailed questions if I can ask Blake, if that's all right. Nothing crazy. Who did you fly in with, Blake?
I flew in with Charlie.
With Charlie on Charlie's plane. So at the Salt Lake City interview at Savory Fun, how many security guards did he have with him there?
I don't know.
You couldn't remember? You can't count them up?
I mean, it was a number greater than one, and I don't know the exact number of people he had at any particular.
Well, just think back. You were there, so
Well, okay.
how many security would he have had?
Charlie, the amount of security Charlie would have. I mean, you would have Dan, you would have Brian Harpole, and among other things. Yeah, I just don't remember. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head the exact number.
Yeah, well, hey, he didn't have Brian Harpole with him because Brian was already at UVU. So
wait, hold on. Isn't that what you said in Utah?
At the Savory Fund interview with Andrew Smith before he went to UVU.
And prior, I wasn't at that event. I was in the other SUV.
So where were you in between time? When you got off the plane, where did you go?
I was in the other SUV.
Did you go straight to UVU?
We had two SUVs. I was in the one Charlie wasn't in, and I was somewhere. I actually have no idea where they parked it.
What do you mean you don't know where you were?
I'd never been to Utah before. We had
So you got off the plane with Charlie. You jumped in the other SUV. Where did you go?
we went somewhere. Why would
You went somewhere.
why would I remember that? Like, can you consider for just one moment that I did not know
Or
that Charlie was going to be
did you go straight to the UVU event?
around the Orem, Utah area? We went.
Surely you've been asked these questions by the authorities, right?
Why would I be asked the questions like that by the
Because
authorities?
you're a key witness to a murder.
No, I'm not. I'm 100.
Surely you can hang on. Surely you can remember what you did that morning.
I'm a key witness to Charlie's life. I'm not a particularly important witness to the murder.
So you got off the plane. You got
How
in
are
the
you not? There a
SUV.
murder
Where
happened
did
there
you
and it's a
go?
crime scene.
Hang on. Let me finish the question. Where did you go?
What do you mean? Where did I go?
You got off the
Did
plane.
you
You
go
got
to
in the
a hotel?
SUV.
Did you go to a restaurant? Did you
Didn't
go to the
go to a
strip
hotel.
club? Where did you go?
We drove somewhere, and because I wasn't going to that event, we just like parked and we marked time until the actual Utah Valley event, and then we
You
drove.
realize you're making yourself look really bad right now by not answering that question. But just go ahead, continue.
Why is that making me look really bad? Like what? Do you want to check
So
my phone
You
and
are
so when did you meet up?
obfuscating,
Hang on.
bro.
that it's not?
Let me
Obfuscating.
finish it. Let me finish it. So
Go
when
ahead,
did
go
you
ahead.
meet up with Charlie to follow him to UVU?
I actually don't. I don't believe I ever did meet up with Charlie. I think he went to that
You followed him in.
I thought
You followed him into UVU.
event, but in the event, I believe we drove there, and I was not directly outside that event. So the memory I have is us driving to the event, and then I was talking on the phone with
You were in the SUV right behind Charlie, so you must have met up with him to travel there together.
When did you start following Charlie in your ride?
I don't
Yeah.
like again. You like ask these are incredibly important questions, and the truth
They
is,
They
are.
are very important questions
The
for
reason
details of the
that's why you are
timeline
not
of events for
answering it
that
is
morning.
because it is an incredibly important question. That's
no, it's
I
why you're
have
not
none
answering
of
it.
you have presented a single reason why this would be important.
I
And
can tell you
Because it
exactly
fills
where
in
I
the
was.
timeline of events.
I have filled in the timeline to the best of my ability. I went with Charlie to Utah.
No,
I
you
sat
haven't.
in a car while Charlie did his speech at some event that I wasn't involved in, and
So who was in your car?
Utah Valley.
Philip.
And we drove to Utah. While we drove to Utah Valley, as I was explaining, since I wasn't in the same car as Charlie, I was on the phone texting with him various ideas on how to, because we knew we had some inkling of what the early questions were going to be, because like people would get in line for all that.
Yep. So you and Philip do his questions and answers, and yep,
And
that's fine.
the thing
Who was it?
talking to
Did you have a security guy in your car?
excuse me, the thing we were talking about as we were driving there was I was texting with him about arguments in favor of monogamy and Christian monogamy and stuff. He was asking for guidelines
Yeah.
why that was awesome.
Likely questions that Mormons are going to ask. Yeah, we get that. That's fine. Who else was in your car? Do you have a security guy with you?
I don't remember the specific people in my car. I believe I.
Ah, come on, Blake.
Why would I remember all of these things?
It's pretty easy. It was just you and Danny Phillip.
That might be who it was. Yeah,
You could remember that.
Did
Buddy, if it's just one
Did
other person.
Charlie go inside anywhere? Like when he got to UVU, do you know? Did he go in any buildings, any restrooms, anything like that?
I don't know because I wasn't with him when he arrived. I believe I arrived ahead of him, if I remember right.
If you were in the SUV behind him, how could you arrive ahead of him?
I don't remember
because he did a meet and greet.
Going anywhere. My memory is him arriving. We would arrive behind the scene where the tent was, and then Charlie walked in, and everyone was recording it. He was grabbing the hats and he was throwing them out. It was a big crowd. I remember
So were you with Brian Simowitz that morning?
I remember turning to someone on our team and going, remember when this was just 20 people? And she goes, I was here when it was just 20 people. I remember that line. I remember the crowd being really hyped. And then he sits down and he starts taking questions.
So then he didn't go anywhere. So this morning during the trial, and I know that you guys watched the stream because you broadcasted it on Charlie's page, which is a little morbid, but whatever. There was a moment, and the defense attorney failed to follow up on it, where the officer said that Tyler Robinson met with a TPUSA representative at 10:30 a.m. the morning of September the 10th. Do you have any idea who that TPUSA representative is that the leading officer described this morning?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
This morning, the leading officer on the case, right, of the Utah SBI, right? He was giving the timeline of events. And during that timeline of events, the officer said that Tyler Robinson in his shorts, the first time he went there around 10 a.m. in the morning, he climbed through the stairwell wearing his shorts. He didn't have the pants and the limp and all of that. And after he left the parking lot structure, he met with, and this is his words, okay? Met with TPUSA representatives. Do you know who they are? Tyler Robinson on
Well,
September the 10th?
no, and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you because you guys would just harass that person, and I know that that person didn't do anything.
Oh, that's the same way that we would harass somebody who took an SD card from a murder scene.
Yes, yeah,
I
actually,
have never
literally the
harassed that
same
guy,
way you've
and I've
harassed
known for
other
months.
people I know who did nothing wrong and have absolutely no reason to suspect them because you people
Are
are
you
incredibly
responsible for
committed,
what other
are
people do or
incredibly
say? We're not the
committed
left, are
to
we, Blake?
arguing against a case that, in
Words
my
are not violence,
opinion,
Blake.
shut.
I have a
Word.
question. I would like to ask. What Charlie did is he taught people. He taught people to question the government when something doesn't make sense. You should ask questions and you should question things. And what this is about, what this entire case is about, these two different sides who are kind of fighting each other is look at the evidence. We don't have access to the evidence. We're not on the ground with Charlie. We didn't know him. We weren't there. But what we see doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. And Charlie told us if that's the case, we should ask questions, look for answers, investigate for ourselves, and not trust the government. The olive branch I would like to extend to you is try to empathize with that. That's what we're about. It doesn't make sense to us. We don't feel like we have enough information to understand this case the way you do that might help you reach the conclusion you
COVID, the
made.
2020 election, every institutional authority has betrayed us for a long time, right? And we all watched this happen. This didn't just affect you guys. I know that it affected the people closest to Charlie the most, but my kid, right, my teenage daughter, watched him being shot on TikTok when she tried to avoid it over and over and over. The entire country was traumatized by that event. Everybody cares, right? And the reason why you guys are taking so much heat, because it seems like you are a lot less curious about flipping over every stone possible
Can
than
he
you should
respond
be.
to that before we go on the attack, please?
I actually, at what point? What is even the question at this point?
The question is, can you empathize with that?
I mean, what I would say is I can understand a generalized attitude of skepticism, but what I've always warned people, I warned Charlie about this because Charlie was more, he was more open to, let's just say, conspiracy theories than I was. We would argue about the Kennedy case. We would argue about a lot of other stuff. And what I've always warned people is you cannot allow a attitude of skepticism to turn into a generalized attitude of I'm going to dismiss everything. I'm going to lash out and attack people. I'm going to believe things that believe narratives that are frankly manifestly insane.
Are you qualified to represent Charlie on his show when he's dead?
Whether I'm qualified or not, unfortunately, I believe a transgender lunatic murdered Charlie, and as a result,
How we can't even see him on
So
the
that's
roof.
so
Like
so if he got murdered by a
there's no
transgender
clear
lunatic, that
story. Come
allows
on.
you to speak in his name
What was
after he's
that?
dead.
I don't think I've ever claimed to just speak in his name. I'm doing my best to carry on his legacy on the show that he created with the people.
Well, I watched his parents walk in, and I looked up, and it said Charlie Kirk is hosting. I'm sorry, is really sickening. There's never been a thing in history where somebody has literally, from their own
You're
account,
right.
covered their
There's
own murder
never been a
proceedings.
case where a prominent social media influencer was gruesomely murdered by someone who hated them in an
He
attempt
was
to
assassinated.
Exactly. That's why why
to
we're thinking
silence
it's a
his
big deal. But
cause
you guys said it
and
wasn't even a
snuff
crime
him
scene. You said
out.
it.
And we believe, and Erica, his widow, believes that it would be a very unfortunate thing to just have the platform that he worked so hard to build, the message he worked so hard to build, be immediately snuffed out because a left wing radical murdered him. And so for now, We have
don't know
continued
that
to
yet.
use that
You're
platform.
assuming that a
We have
Yeah, hang on, hang
on
on,
that
man.
No,
We'll pull you
can
right
we
up
get
on
back?
that
Can we
because
get back
that's
to
continue
the events of the
we're
day?
innocent until proven guilty, bro.
as long
You're
as
already seeing
Erica
that he's
wishes us
already
to do
did it.
so.
Do
And
you
they
believe?
Okay,
will
well,
still
why did you
remain
have to
Sunday.
AI the video? Why did you have to AI it?
We
Like,
didn't
Yeah,
It's a
why
good
was the video
question.
AI?
we didn't AI the video.
Clearly,
I don't know why
You
you're
didn't.
well,
You
about
didn't
with
that's
the
alter the
fact.
video.
we did not AI
the
or
AI,
alter
what
the
we
video. The video is unaltered.
AI Charlie, where he says, "I appoint my wife."
That is not an AI video.
So the day, real quick,
Oh
and
man.
you know what, Blake? Despite the fact that I disagree with a lot of what you're saying, I do appreciate that you're willing to take these questions like this. I have not seen many people from TPUSA willing to face the gauntlet, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to you. If it sounds like I am, it's just because I am highly skeptical because we have been jaded and fucked over by the government and the authorities for a very long time, right?
Well,
As I
if I
think,
could reply to that for a bit, what I would
go
say,
ahead.
if someone actually, I would love it if people really just did approach us and say, I don't fully understand these things. I would like some of these things explained more. I would be a lot more charitable. But what I have
There,
Can we do a
consistently,
town
no,
hall?
excuse me, I'm still speaking. What I have consistently seen for the past 10 months is I have seen people be extremely nasty. I have seen them bully, harass, intimidate, and be wantonly cruel towards people who were around Charlie, whom, even if they're asking questions, they absolutely have no evidence, let alone proof, that these people were involved in Charlie's death. And yet they act in a very malicious and nasty way. And I've seen
I,
that happen over and
so,
over and
some
over.
of them do, but
That has played a major role in me taking an increasingly jaundiced attitude towards these people because, in truth, I believe that many of them don't care that much about the truth. I think they enjoy finding an excuse to attack other people.
I didn't. Tyler Boyer used to follow me. I've met him, right? And I was legitimately, softly asking questions, and I was responded to with vitriol, right? Because people were grieving, they were close, they were dealing, and like every time, right, for months and months and months, it kept being, well, we can't ask questions right now because it's too close, right? It's too soon. And then it got nasty. And so I think so. The nastiness, I think, has been both ways. You guys started calling people conspiracy theorists for asking legitimate questions on Charlie's own show within weeks of the assassination, right? So TPUSA is not without guilt here.
Can I ask one really specific question, Blake? There's I would text exchange between Phil Lyman and a couple of other people, and he specifically states in that Tyler Boyer threatened him back in December, and he mentions you in the text exchange.
I
Apparently, you
I've seen the text
contacted him after that.
forgotten about it, so I don't know off the top of my head what you're referring to.
Blake, do you
Okay,
know
Blake,
it's
Victor
in.
can I?
Marks?
If, did you
Hang on, can I
do you?
just
Yeah,
clarify?
go ahead.
Um, it was when Phil Lyman was in DC. Sarah Rogers is involved, and it specifically states that Tyler Boyer contacted Phil Lyman in December and threatened him. And then a day or two later, you joined into that same conversation, and there's no context. We don't know what the threat is. We don't know what the context of the conversation is. Can you clear that up?
I don't have any real memory of this, and I'd probably have to.
It'll be in your phone. You had text messages with Phil Lyman or phone calls with Phil Lyman. It'll be in your phone.
Maybe you can come back to it, Blake. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
I don't have it on a text exchange.
Do you remember when you left like Orem or the Orem area that night? Did you leave on the 10th, like the evening of the 10th?
No, we left the following day.
And did you like how did you get back to Phoenix?
I went back on a jet that was made available to us.
Like a private jet or something?
Yeah,
On the 11th?
on the 11th.
So you were in Orem on the night of the 10th?
Yes, I was.
Interesting. Thank you.
What I don't know why that's interesting, but yeah, I was. I
Well,
don't
I
think.
mean, you remember what you did afterwards. You remember leaving and how you got to arrive, right?
I don't. I
You,
don't want to be.
you don't
I
remember
don't want to.
what you did when you got there,
I don't
right? You
want.
don't remember what you did when you
I
got
don't
there, but
want.
you remember how you left. It's
I don't want to
interesting.
be mean, but you don't find it rather likely that you're going to have a better memory of things immediately after an incredibly shocking and memorable event, as
No,
opposed
actually,
to
your
before.
adrenaline's running, your blood pressure's up, your heart rate's increased. You're a lot less likely to remember things after a heated moment than you are just before, right? The
Well, I'd
calm
also
before
If
the
I
no.
landed
storm.
in
Your question
Salt Lake
is
City and got in an
just
SUV, I'd know where I went.
hold on. You're also your question is literally when did you leave and how did you leave? And in fact, I also know that for before the event that I arrived on a plane the day of the event and I left on a plane the day after the event. If you ask me every single who was on the same plane as me, I don't
Were
remember.
you at the hospital?
I was at the hospital, yes.
And then you went to, if you don't mind, of course, only answer what you feel comfortable with. Did you go to the hotel after you left the hospital?
Yes, I was at the hospital most of the day, and I went back to the hotel that we ended up staying at that evening.
And
What happened when you got to the?
did you stay at the hotel all night?
Uh, yes, as far as I can remember.
Can you tell us what happened when you
As
got to
far
the
as you can
hospital?
remember,
When I got to the hospital, I stayed in the like ER waiting room for the rest of the day.
What did you hear?
What did I hear? I was told at one point that Charlie had died, and I mean, what else would I hear?
Did you guys go there
I'm
right
sorry to
after
hear that.
in the SUV?
I was not. I
Like, did
was
you
not
guys
in the
get in?
SUV that. I did not go in
Charlie
an
was in.
SUV. I did not go in the car that Charlie was taken in by the security. I traveled to the hospital a short time later in a police cruiser.
Okay. When did Erica get there?
Erica got there later that day. I don't remember the exact time, but obviously she was not in the city and she had to be flown in very quickly. So that happened, but I don't recall the exact time she arrived at the hospital. And I did
Oh,
not. I did
oh, I
not
didn't know she
very
was in the
much that
city.
day because there was sort of like there were the people who saw Charlie's body, who had access to the surgeon, the doctor. I was not one of those people, so there were others on this team, and they were controlling access to it pretty severely. So I was out, like I said, in the kind of ER waiting room. Several other members of the team were there. Over time, other people trickled in, like those who weren't in Orem that day. Initially, a lot of them flew in. Some other people were allowed in eventually. Like I remember someone eventually, because we had no food there for a long time, someone eventually got in uh, bearing food. I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been Chick-fil-A we eventually got. But
Can I
well,
just
it might have
rewind?
been
Was Nate Walker in your car, Blake?
was who?
Nate Walker.
I think he may have gone to the hospital with us. I don't think he was in the
How,
car when I arrived
how
at
did
the
he
event.
get to UVU from the Savory Fund interview?
I don't know.
Was
He might
he
have ridden.
was he with you?
I have told you I don't remember who was in the SUV, so I can't recall where specific people were at each specific moment.
I have a question about Mikey, if I could ask.
I mean, it depends on the question, but Mikey, I consider a good friend.
Okay. So right when, everything happened, you both kind of like ran in the same direction, but Mikey walked and you ran. And then in your interview, you said you met up with Mikey out in the parking lot. Can you explain that when you ran and he walked? So, two questions. When did you see Mikey? And then, two, why did Mikey walk so slow when the person right next to him, which was you, was running? Why was he walking and you were running?
I'm not sure the exact reason. I think there's probably a lot of potential reasons. There were people in front of him. Everyone reacts differently to a extremely shocking and traumatic event. He might have been following where other people were going initially. As for how we met up, I ran for a bit, and then it occurred to me that one, I was actually in not the best of shape at that time, so I couldn't run a dead run that long. And then I would also say I realized there hadn't been another gunshot because the initial reason I fled was I thought there was an active shooter, and as I've told you, I thought it was closer initially that it was like possibly someone in the crowd. but I realized there hadn't been another shooter at that point, so I probably wasn't in immediate danger. So I slowed up, and then I made contact with Mikey. I can't remember the exact way that happened, but this had to happen. I doubt it was much more than a minute after the shooting.
Are you aware that there's cameras that followed Mikey all the way to the parking lot and he was by himself? And remember, you're running and he's walking. We were able to see him walk all the way out to the parking lot and he was by himself. So when you met Mikey, were you out in the parking lot, like where your cars are? And like where were you guys? What did you guys meet at? Because like I said, he was walking and you were running in the
Well,
parking lot.
I have told you I fled, and then I eventually stopped running, and I presumably, however it happened, Mikey was near me. I don't think
Did you both did you both drive to the hospital together since y'all did meet up?
we traveled together eventually. What happened was I met up with him. He called his wife, and then he called Erica. And then meanwhile, I called my mother, which I've explained before. After those phone calls, I'm not going to divulge the details of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mikey called, I believe he called his father and said that Charlie had been shot and that his father needed to call all of his pastor friends to have them pray for Charlie.
So my question is, did you and Mikey ride together to the hospital
Yes, we
or
did.
did you ride
So
separately?
we sort of what happened was we
Like who got in whose car or what?
we worked our way back to the scene of the shooting where police were. We'd gathered a few members of the team at that point, and they detailed a police officer, and he drove us to the hospital. So it was
So a police officer drove you and Mikey together. Y'all both went
that's what I
together
recall.
in a police officer's car,
Yeah,
right?
we drove there together.
Okay. And another thing, and I don't want to take up all the time. Terrell Farnsworth, he took the SD cards out. You talked about that already. But why were 5 officers surrounding Terrell Farnsworth after everybody was gone? Why were they guarding him in particular? They were surrounding him. Do you know why? It seemed like they were guarding him more than they were guarding Charlie Kirk. I'm just wondering about that.
Well, it's possible that this is all happening in a matter of seconds. It's possible that they were less surrounding Terrell and they were more surrounding the scene at which Charlie had been shot. But I have not seen what you're in particular referring to. I will say, I think, I'll just say it bluntly. I think conspiracy theories involving Terrell, who I personally know, are profoundly delusional and often very mean.
In what way?
And
In what way?
well, because I don't think first of all, since I personally know him, I know
Mhm.
absolutely zero reason to suspect him of being involved in anything. And I know that he's faced a lot of harassment, and it's been certainly a traumatic for him to go through all of that when he already has to deal with losing the friend and boss that he'd worked with for many years, and that his family
Yeah,
was
well,
close
like I
to.
think Terrell's selfie video was a bit sort of that's why. That's where it all started from. I mean, doing his weird selfie video straight afterwards, and then taking the SD cards out.
Okay,
With
well,
this
sorry,
whole
sorry
flash
that you
drive,
And
didn't
hang on.
respond.
With the whole SD flash drive thing, can you confirm whether it was a flash drive or an SD card that was handed over to the police?
I have no idea.
He's your friend. Could you ask him?
I mean, I could, but I don't think it's terribly.
It's a very important detail. If it's an SD card from the camera, it's absolutely the original footage. If it's on a flash drive, when it's not the original footage.
Can you
The
text him?
author, the integrity of that footage becomes into question because he's transferred it to a flash drive.
I don't think the integrity of the footage is in question.
Absolutely does. Absolutely does. How
Can
can
you
you not
text him?
see?
well,
How can you not
he
see
may
that?
not know. I
Let's
want to
not pile
get
drive.
to Yeah, I want to get to what he may actually know. You said Terrell is good friends with Charlie, just like all of you guys, right? Why is it that you guys are running and y'all went to the hospital to tend to Charlie? Why was Terrell just focused on, because he actually took the chair that Charlie died on, stood on it, and started taking down like cameras. It didn't seem like he was too concerned about this guy that you all cared about. And why did he take down the camera that was right behind Charlie in particular? Because that was the most important camera of all of this, because it would have shown what happened to the back of his neck. But it's like everybody's running around and you guys went to the hospital, which that's a good thing, but he stayed behind just to take cameras down. Is there a reason why he didn't go to the hospital with you two?
Well,
You and Mikey?
first of all, I think you're probably underappreciating the large number of people affiliated with Turning Point who are at that scene. So it's actually not a valid cause for vilification that they did not all immediately go to the hospital. I would say that probably I'd say the reason we went is we were the ones who'd come in with Charlie. We were the ones who were working directly with him. Terrell is a guy who he had a whole group of people who worked for him. He has a scene that he is the one who actually is setting up the technical scene. But hold on, taking a step back here, this bizarre intense need to police the microscopically every random act of random people that because you guys saw them on a camera the day it happened, you've decided to go after them.
No,
Mikey's
we've
been
absolutely
bad because
witnessed suspicious behavior, Blake, from a lot of
Mikey
people.
didn't move quickly enough for them, and because he had his hand near his ear, and so they invent something that is
Yeah,
complete that no
and we're not
evidence.
talking about Mikey.
They
It was all about Terrell and what Terrell did at the moment. And
Terrell
And
it's
this is just
unexplainable.
human
Terrell took an
behavior,
SD card
Blake.
out of a camera after a shooting.
Yeah, I want to know if that SD card was handed straight to the police or if it was transferred to a flash drive and
Hey,
also a Google Drive
I have an idea.
transfer.
I have an idea.
But hang on, can I just one last question I need
Real
to ask, and
fast,
then you can drop me down.
real fast.
Blake, do you know Victor Marks?
Who?
Can before we switch topics, Mr. Neff, would you text Mr. Farnsworth and ask him if he handed over a flash drive or an SD card? Thank you.
No, I'm actually not going to do this because I think he's faced enough harassment for this, and I think this is an option
I think it's a reasonable request.
from.
It's not like we're asking him to give us the last four of his Soch, right?
Again, you got there's
That's a
absolutely
simple
Blake,
no
do you
question.
valid
feel
reason.
harassed
There's
now?
absolutely no
Like,
valid reason that has ever been presented to think that Terrell actually did anything wrong. The police have never claimed.
Well, then his
The
answer
Well,
defense has never claimed he did
should
anything wrong.
his
Nobody
answer
has
should be
presented any
easy to
evidence
give,
that the
right?
person
and
This
that's
is
the reason why we're
way
asking. Like, he might be
entirely
yeah.
perfectly
outside of.
innocent, but if it was a flash drive or an SD card, it makes a big
It
difference.
I can
actually
tell
makes
you when
no
I have
difference at
nothing to
all unless
hide,
there's
I am
evidence
very
that footage
open.
is tampered with, and there
I
hasn't
don't
been any.
hide behind like
I
emotional
know. I
shields
appreciate
or
you
like
being here.
woke answers that, this hurts too much for me to answer. That's ridiculous.
No,
We're
I'm not going
asking
to be
very
held
simple questions.
hostage by people that demand. I have deigned.
Blake,
I
we
have.
want to create a safe space
I
for
have
you. I
deigned
just want to say
Nobody
that
nobody's trying to
it's
attack
okay.
Terrell.
I am not going to rope in everybody else with questions from people who I do
He,
bluntly
Okay, I have
Terrell's
one and then I'll
already
drop.
roped in, mate.
I have one, then I'll drop. You said that you stayed in Orem the night of September the 10th. You said that you went and stayed at the hotel, but you said you didn't know if you left. You're not sure if you left the hotel that night?
I mean, I don't believe I did.
You don't believe you did.
I mean, I probably stepped out because I was wondering if there was any food. I think is probably what I imagined, but it was late and it was a weeknight.
You guys don't, you said that you had to get a ride from the troopers to the hotel, so you didn't have your own car, correct?
No, I did not.
So how did you step out?
I mean, I didn't step out from the hotel in any significant way. I may have physically stepped outside the building at some point. I didn't go anywhere else.
Okay.
Can I just ask one last question, then you can drop me down? Blake, do you know Victor Marks?
Victor Marks? We've met him at some point.
Yeah.
We had him on the show once.
Yeah, and do you know Eileen, his wife?
It's possible I've met her, but I wouldn't say I know her well.
Do they do anything with the security for you guys? Does Victor Marks supply the security team?
I can't speak to that.
Well, Victor already did. Victor already said on the night that he swapped his team over for Charlie's team. So,
Are you one of the main producers of the Charlie Kirk Show? Right.
I am producer on the Charlie Kirk Show.
Would you be willing to, if people were willing to be cordial, would you be willing to try to arrange a more of a like with more people from the show who are there or even at the TPUSA to have a kind of very, very moderated town hall? I think that a lot of the animosity and suspicion would be laid at ease if people weren't vilified for asking reasonable questions, and maybe that would help both sides here.
Hey, can I jump in real quick, guys? I've noticed, because I came in here and I've been listening very intently to all the conversation here, and there's been a lot of accusatory questions and everything else like that. So how about this? For all the people that, don't believe the official narrative, you guys don't agree with it, you're asking Blake all these questions, how about you guys give him your theory and then let him work it backwards and tell you what did or didn't happen? I think that would be a little bit better, because I can see that you guys are asking a lot of questions to try to figure things out. Why not just give your theory and let him tell you or fill in whatever you might be thinking happened?
Okay, Blake, did Victor Marks,
I think
was
that would
Victor
be a little
Marks a
too long-winded
co-conspirator
for
in
each
Charlie's
person to do.
murder?
No,
Was
it's actually
Victor Marks
long-winded
the
having you guys
co-conspirator
ask
in
like a
Charlie's
bunch of
murder?
questions at the same time. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be better if I honestly do think
It's
it'd be better.
longer-winded for him to have
just-
like a long story narrative, right, and not ask specific
Well, just
questions
summarize
about
it. Just summarize
details.
I see
I
what you're
just
saying. I
asked,
got an idea, Myron. I've got
I
it. Okay.
just asked a specific question. Was Victor Marks a co-conspirator in Charlie's murder? That's my
He
theory.
doesn't know.
See,
He
there we
doesn't
go.
know.
Absolutely
Okay,
zero.
Myron, I have a question on that line. Okay, so there is something that is unusual to me. And Blake, I wondered if you would find this unusual. So, the Farnsworths, whatever they do, they do video, audio. They've done it for years. In 2009, they made a video about like
In
literally
2009,
shooting.
you're
Yeah.
asking me about something in 2009.
Yes, and yeah. You just hold on. But it's almost the exact same way that Charlie died. That they fell down exactly. He hit his neck, and so it's just. I would just like. I could show you exactly. I mean, that's a extreme coincidence.
I'm going to be very blunt with you. When you see like coded echoes of real world events in videos made 17 years ago,
You just. I'll be blunt with you. I
it,
mean, it seems like if something was going to be. I mean, it's almost exactly to a T, though. But also, okay. So
no,
Jack was on.
I will say I have no idea what you are talking about.
That's fine.
Farnsworth,
That's fine.
even Terrell Farnsworth, he would have. I think he's around maybe a few years older than me, and so if this was in 2009, he'd be what, in college? A lot of them are younger than me, so they would be in high school then. And so
I'm just asking you if you think it would be weird if there was a video that's almost exactly the same.
not really. I mean,
No,
That,
okay.
that's
Well,
not
that's
really
fine.
a
That was your
trick
answer. And then
question.
really quick, when Jack was on the show, or he was reporting live. So when did but then he wasn't able to come. But when did Andrew fly down from Phoenix?
he flew down that day. He flew down that day, or flew up, I should say,
From where?
from Phoenix,
Oh, okay.
or for wherever he flew in from. I don't want to say from Phoenix.
All right,
So Blake,
let me just.
somebody
Well,
was
but no,
asking you a question
No,
about
he did fly
coming
in
on
from
your
Phoenix,
show.
and Glenn Beck said it.
I've been
Glenn
listening
Beck
to
said it
you
was from Phoenix.
I'll be honest. Like a lot of you
Glenn
guys,
Beck doesn't work for us, but
I've been listening to this for a minute. Like, guys, a lot of you guys are beating around the bush with your questions. Just like straight up, give your theory.
These are specific questions we've wanted answers to for a really long time.
Right.
We've been listening to him give his narrative and story and the other staff every day on Charlie Kirk Show for a long time. We don't need to hear them story tell like we have been for the last year.
I'm telling you, since you
I don't have a theory. I ask questions. I want to get to the
We're
truth.
just simply asking questions.
Because clearly some people here have theories. I could tell from the leading questions, like, is it not this, blah, blah. Clearly some of you guys have a theory. So just tell them your theory, and then let's work it backwards. Say it with your chest.
Okay, so when you were at the hospital, Blake, were you around Brian Harpo, or were you in a different room?
they don't like getting answers, and they get very nasty if you try to give them any. And I will say, I don't think that this room has substantially disproven that suspicion of mine.
Is there another arena you would love to have a conversation like this with somebody?
Not
Yeah,
particularly.
no one has been rude to you at all.
Yeah.
People have been quite rude to me throughout this discussion.
Is there another environment you would feel more comfortable having these conversations? Is the question.
Not particularly.
Like on your show, on somebody else's show, it's just a question. Would you be open to that?
Not really.
Can we come
Because
to
then it'll be
Arizona?
a little
Well,
bit.
why are you here now
It'll
then?
be less. It'll be less volatile.
I appreciate you being here, Blake. I think
I
it's
appreciate it too,
you
but
got kahunas.
It wasn't a
it
very
would, it
large
would, it would, it would like
it wasn't a very large
this.
room I joined, and I didn't realize it would be so full of this many people. But since it was here, I
But if
decided
you
to
think
hang
this
out.
is a volatile environment, let's find another environment that would be more suitable for these conversations. Is all I'm saying.
This?
I've said why I dislike it. It's not merely that it's volatile. I dislike it because I think a very large number of the questions are asked in bad faith. I think they are asked from a position of trying to harass people, trying to hurt people. I think they are asked by people
This is
who are often
this.
profoundly delusional, and they do not accept your answers if you simply say, "I think you are being delusional and hurtful."
I have I told you that you were lying one time? Has anybody called you a liar? No. Nobody said that. Nobody has scoffed at your answers. I may have thrown up a
Actually, people
laughy
have scoffed
emoji.
at my answers repeatedly. They have scoffed that
Yeah,
But
you guys,
things
look,
that
dude,
I
Hang
guys,
on. I,
cut the shit,
I
man.
have. I admit it. I have. I'm honest, but
Hold on. Your mic is
if
loud,
I have
dude.
a problem with your answer,
Australian, chill
I'm
out.
gonna say something.
I have.
Australian dude,
I
people have
Australian guy, chill
repeated
out.
people in this
Chill out.
conversation.
Guys,
I haven't.
I literally came in here. I've been listening intently for at least 30, 40 minutes. You guys have been rude, accusatory, cutting him off, scoffing at his answers. That's a full of shit. So what I'm saying is this.
I have
If you
been.
have him here,
I admit
I
it.
know you have. So
I'm
then
an
just
I'm
let
an
me finish
honest
what I'm saying. Let me finish what
conversationalist,
I'm saying.
man.
Dude, why are you still talking? It's very simple.
Because
Tell him,
you're talking,
yo,
you're taking up time that doesn't need to be taken up. Blake's a
shut the
big
fuck
boy.
up.
He can stand up.
Dude. I'm telling you to say it with your fucking chest. Give the theory. Tell him what you think happened. Stop beating around and stop being pussies.
Judas Harpole. Judas Harpole did it.
Dude, say what it is.
why are we turning into the ground of like trying to create defamation, right? By accusing people of doing things. When we start spouting theories, right? There's a high likelihood you're going to have
Okay.
people making false accusations that they can't prove. And we already know that TPUSA is sending out cease and desist in mass, and our former staff members are already suing people. Candace Owens is a good example, right?
Okay,
I would rather ask the questions that have been bothering me for almost a year than sit here and try to posit theories or accuse people of shit that I can't or prove or disprove.
What? Then here's the thing, though. You're asking those questions from a frame. You're asking those questions because you have an idea
You're
in your head of
taking
what
up
you think
time
happened.
by arguing with
Yo, shut
us.
the fuck up, dude.
We're
I'm
trying to
talking.
talk to him,
Shut your
bro.
ass up, bro. Shut up. Okay.
You
Like
shut the fuck up. Who the fuck are you?
Who's this
Well,
watermelon warrior
this
coming
is
in here?
devolving.
Anyway,
Let's devolving. Come on.
I'm just saying, like
Sir,
it is.
we're talking to
It's very
Blake,
frustrating.
not you.
Hey guys, stop.
Hey,
It's
hang
very
on,
simple.
Myron,
time out.
I
It's
might
Hang
have
on,
to
time
drop
out.
you if you
We're
don't let others
talking with
speak.
Blake, not
I might have
Myron.
to drop
Just
you if
stop
you don't
asking
let
pussy
others speak
questions. Say
properly.
what it is, man.
I know,
Fuck.
but listen, everybody, if listen, can we just take a beat? If everybody can just give, others, like, just let everyone respond, please. I don't want there to be a fight. I know we all have big opinions, but
Look,
let's just
I'm going to
be.
be simple about this. I'm going to make it very nice and short and succinct. These guys are asking leading questions. They clearly have a theory. They're too scared to say their theory because I know that they're asking questions in a manner because they have an idea of what they think transpired on that day, and they refuse to tell what their theory is because they're scared. What I'm saying is, if you're going to go ahead and harass the guy and ask these questions, cool. Tell them what you think your theory is and work it backwards.
Myron,
Asking
will
questions
you
is
look in
not
the nest?
harassment.
Myron, will you look in the nest? Look in the nest and you'll see my theory.
Elizabeth, just come
Just
in.
say it, dude. Just say your theory.
Yeah.
Judas Harpole, he squeezed the detonated trigger underneath his shirt that blew up the shaped charge pendant underneath Charlie's shirt.
Now we're
I
going
Judas
somewhere.
disavow.
Harpole.
I disavow, by the way.
So
I
I have
disavow.
a
Yeah, I
I have
gotta be
a
dreaming
I
right
have a
now.
question for Blake Neff. This is Elizabeth Lane. Is it okay if I just ask?
Yeah, come on, come in.
Great. So we've been hearing that TPUSA keeps pointing fingers at Tyler Robinson. I have a very simple question. No offense, no nothing. Blake, if you were on trial instead of Tyler Robinson, would you be comfortable going to prison on this evidence presented? Would you be comfortable being called guilty by widow or whoever? I don't care, whoever. Would you be comfortable taking this evidence where your face is not on the video, on any video, again, it's a factual thing. We all heard there is no face of Tyler Robinson in any of these videos. I've heard it twice now. One time I was at the court when I heard it. So that's one. Number two, would you be comfortable when prosecution and defense agree there's two DNAs on your belongings where your DNA should be? It's your gun. It's your gun, it's your clothes. But all of a sudden, then ends up some other guy's DNA on it that shouldn't really be there. Would you be comfortable if everyone called you, you're guilty, no one should ask questions, shut up, everybody, go home, let's just get Tyler Robinson on a death row? If you were that guy, Blake, would you be comfortable? Yes or no? That's all I need. Yes or no?
Well, if I were, so you're asking if I were Tyler Robinson, would I think I was guilty? Yeah,
No, no, I
Rob,
didn't say if
I
you were
think I
Tyler
was guilty.
Robinson. Excuse me, if you didn't hear,
Get it?
let me repeat this. Yeah, I never said if you were Tyler Robinson. I said if you were in his place, not
If,
where Tyler
yeah, so
Robinson. That's a
if I
very
had
different
that
question.
evidence, if I had that evidence,
Yes.
that evidence would include me being on the campus throughout the day of September 10th when I live many hours away. The evidence would include a rifle with my DNA on it. The
Mm-hmm.
evidence would include shells or bullet rounds that have machining on them. And I have a machine tool in my home. The evidence would include my parents confronting me and me confessing to them and agreeing to be turned into the police. The evidence would include my partner testifying to the police against me. The evidence would include text messages that I sent to that partner declaring that
So now
the evidence
you're
would
going
include other
over
things
the no. None of this. Where'd you hear parents testify?
now
Where no.
I
Hold
think
on.
he answered
You
your
can't
question.
lie. You
your
can't lie about this stuff. If
I
you're gonna
your
answer,
question you only said you would ask one. So
He answered your question.
well, again, he answered
The
with
answer
lies.
is
He literally said, Blake, you can't just say something that didn't happen. Where point out time frame right now, time frame, where did you hear parents testify that they absolutely believe that Tyler Robinson confessed and they believe he's guilty? Where did you hear that? That did not happen. So if you want to sit here like to kind of gaslight us that you are coming in good faith, I want to believe you're here for good faith. Yes, good, bro. Let's do this. Where did you hear that? I'm just giving you factual stuff from today and yesterday. Only sticking with that. I can go and like manipulate the narrative as you are right now all day long. I spoke to the parents, unlike you. I actually was there. I spoke to them directly. I know exactly how they feel. I was the one who spoke to the grandpa. I know exactly how he feels. And he disagrees with you. So you can gaslight me right now all day long, telling me, oh, Elizabeth, they did it. No, they didn't. So when you hear that, you can send me a video. I'll accept it from you, Blake. Send me a video when parents say, oh, yes, we believe Tyler Robinson is guilty.
They've
He
never said
confessed to all
that.
of us.
I've talked to
Yeah,
the family. I've talked to the family. They have never said that he confessed. As a matter of fact,
exactly. So
he did not confess to the parents. He
hold
did
on.
not
We
confess.
know, but let's be fair to Blake. Let's be fair to Blake, okay? Very simple. Just with the evidence presented in these last 2 days, Blake, would you be comfortable going to prison? Yes or no? That's all I need from you. This will be on
I
record.
already answered that question. Next person.
He did
Oh,
answer the
okay.
question.
Great. You didn't answer the question, but
I
thank you.
answered the question.
That's
he
it.
answered the question. I told you he answered the question. Of
Yo,
course, he's
I'm
going to
not
say
gonna
no.
lie, yo, Elizabeth, that was a stupid question because they don't have all the evidence. This is a prelim hearing for probable cause. You're stupid. That was a dumb question.
Exactly. Well, that's my
That was a dumb
point. They don't
question.
have all the evidence.
No,
So
you
And
we
asked a
need to
dumb
move on to
question.
another
You
person
literally
asking
asked
the
a dumb
question.
question, Elizabeth.
I would rather ask
Like, why is
questions
no
that he
one
knows
else saying that
answers
he's
to
asking
and
a
not
dumb question?
hypotheticals.
That was a stupid question. We're literally in a preliminary hearing establishing probable cause. Like, we clearly
then,
not went to
then why are
trial.
they pointing? Why are they saying Tyler Robinson is guilty and stop
Why
asking
are they
questions?
pointing
That's
fingers?
why I
He is
asked that
literally
question.
the
There's more
defendant. He is
evidence.
literally the defendant that is charged by the police.
Dude,
And they have a large amount of evidence against him. They have a
Again,
tremendous amount of
Blake.
evidence
Blake,
against
you
We're
him.
know
in a
how
position
many
to
you
ask
know how many
questions,
I'm going
ma'am.
detectives
to
I
Just
have
ask
worked with,
another
Blake?
question.
I'm
Blake,
going
Blake,
to
Just
ask
ask a question.
do you believe
Louisiana,
that
please
American
queue up the next question, or
Just
like
ask another question.
Blake, do you
browbeat
believe that
my.
Americans are presumed innocent until proven guilty by a jury of their
Yes,
peers?
why we're doing this trial.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is being afforded that right?
Yes, he seems to be getting that right in an incredibly exhaustive way.
Is
That's why
he
it's
being afforded that right by TPUSA?
what?
Is Tyler Robinson being afforded the right to be considered innocent until proven guilty by
Yeah,
TPUSA?
that is not a right that you get from other people. That's a right you get from the government.
So, but it's a foundational principle of our country, correct? You are a conservative, right?
You are presumed you are innocent until proven guilty by our
Great.
government.
Why are you guys then shutting everyone
I'm
like why
All
are you
right.
guys shutting everyone off?
allowed to
Let's just
think
take turns asking
that
questions. That's all we got to do.
You didn't even
overwhelming.
get to answer me.
Allowed
Go
to
ahead and
think,
let him.
I'm
Go ahead and
allowed to
answer,
think that
Blake.
people acquitted are guilty. I'm allowed to think that OJ was guilty. You're allowed to think that
Yeah,
Daniel Penny
but
was guilty, even though he was acquitted.
TPUSA isn't just one person. TPUSA is an institution in this country with massive media pull, and the jury selection hasn't even occurred yet, right? So you realize every day when you're up there telling people that he's guilty and that he was easily identified, and
Well,
all of the
I'm
talking
not
points
even
that
employed
you
with
just
USA.
said, you are
Said
just the
the only
same way
USA has
you're
ever said
tampering,
Tyler
you are
Robinson
tainting the jury pool.
So,
no,
so if
not.
you've never said that, Blake, okay, we believe you. You never said Tyler Robinson is guilty. Then why do you have a problem with Candace Owens conducting an investigation? So you just said it. We are entitled to our opinions. It's our shows. We can do whatever we want as long as we don't cross the line where legal, legal aspect of things come in, right? So all Candace is doing is investigating the death of her friend. Okay.
That's
So
false.
here's the problem I have with
That's
this. Hold on, let
factually
me finish. I'll let you
that
finish.
is a factually false statement.
Really? How is that factually false statement? You explain that to me.
Because let's see, because Candace has also done things like she has done giant fishing expeditions against a ton of other people that Charlie knew or was
Guess
related
what,
to.
Blake?
There's
I have you ever worked with a
death
detective? I have a
in the
question. Have you ever worked with a detective? Because between me and you, I actually have documentedly.
I'm going to
So
say I'm not going to get browbeaten by this person. Mute her.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
And
okay, Blake. I get it.
I'm
I get it.
going to step
It's
out.
okay.
I am fed up with this person.
oh, you're
Blake,
always
how
Can
fed
I
are
ask
up
a
you?
with the
question
truth.
or you
You're
want to
always
take a
fed up
second?
with the truth. It's okay. You're always fed
Wait,
up
wait,
with the
wait.
truth.
Blake, are you okay with asking another question?
I'm going to answer another question, but I will not answer another question from her because I think she's acting in bad faith.
Oh, I
Got
am
it.
acting in
Okay.
bad faith. Okay.
I asked the question earlier about you going to the hospital. Were you near Brian Harpool? That was my question.
I have no memory of where I was relative to Brian Harpole before the shooting and afterwards. I probably saw him at the hospital at some
That's what I
point.
just asked.
I truthfully don't remember who I saw at exactly what point.
Okay. Let's just ask some questions
Can I
and
just
that's
jump in
it.
with one question? It's pretty simple. Blake, on the day, who are they live streaming to from the event? And do you know which cameras were live streaming, or were they all switching around live streaming?
I would say
But where
off
is it going
because
to?
I don't even know if we were specifically live streaming. We were obviously recording it for
You were
release.
part of the setup there. They had Carol said he had a live
I know
stream
the
going.
answer to
So
this. I know
And
the
if
answer to
Carol
this.
says we had a live stream going, then I presume
It
we
was
did.
actually it was Tyler Boyer who said it on the
surely you'd know where the
timeline.
live stream was going to.
He said the live stream was being sent back to Arizona and recorded
Okay,
on the
well,
device.
in that case, that's probably that it was being recorded and sent to Arizona because
No,
then
he
they
said
would.
it was being streamed. That was
It's,
specifically the
he
language he
said it was
used.
being streamed back to ops. Like, what's ops? Is that head office?
I don't know.
I have a question about Erica.
Oh, I just wanted to hear the
If
answer to that one. Like, he was there. Blake, you were there. Like, you were part of the
I'm waiting.
setup. You set up the whole audio and helping set up
Not set
the
up the audio.
cameras.
I'm not a team member. So you guys asked me questions about where it was streaming or what
You
camera
don't
was
do
being
any. You
used.
don't help with any of the technicals.
So,
I am not a
would
technical
Andrew Cipher know that question? Would he?
camera.
If he doesn't know, he doesn't know.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
that's
have a
right.
Would
question about
would
Erica.
Andrew Cipher know?
I don't
Like,
know.
someone's got to know where the live stream was going.
Can
I
I ask my question about
I
Erica?
don't
I
know. I'm
was still
sorry.
asking the question. Just
Not
stop cutting me off.
answering
Okay.
a relevant question.
Yeah. Oh, so Andrew Cipher, he's field op, didn't he?
Uh, I couldn't tell you his exact title, but Andrew Cipher has been involved in our campus
But
events.
hang on. How do you not know his title? You've worked with Andrew for years, haven't you?
I work for Turning Point USA.
But yeah, you've done events and they've been live streamed before, and you're the producer of Charlie Kirk's show, aren't you?
I'm a producer on the Charlie Kirk show, so I work for a different company.
So, but you know where the
Okay.
live
Wait,
streaming works and who's.
you don't work for the Charlie Kirk show?
I work for the Charlie Kirk show. The Charlie Kirk show is not produced by Turning Point USA.
The
Okay,
one
here's my
that's
question about Erica. Are you in charge of giving Erica talking points the way you were in charge of working with Charlie Kirk? Because she's now the CEO. Are you the person that gives her talking points, helps her with her speeches? Yes or no?
I have said publicly that I helped Erica with some of her speeches, but I don't help her. I do not provide her a list of talking points. I do not tell her what to say about things. I have said I have assisted her on some of things that she has done, and if she asks me to do that in the future, I will do the same, and I will not speak.
Blake, jump in.
Wait. I'm still asking about Erica. Okay, so when she did that video where she had all black on and she was a little upset about everybody talking about her, who was in charge of what she had on and what was the purpose of that particular
What
showing?
she's wearing. Okay.
No,
In charge of
not
what she's.
okay. We
I don't.
okay. We all know everything has optics. So when a woman wears all white, that means something. When a woman wears all black, that means something. Do you at least understand? Do you agree with that?
Uh,
When a woman shows up, how she dresses means something.
I mean, I think you're probably going to read more meaning into it than any person would necessarily intend. I will
That's
say,
fine. That's
I
fine.
will tell you,
So
I don't
go ahead.
decide what anyone at our enterprise wears. The only person I will say, I don't even fully decide what I wear because I
So
have
was it Andrew COVID that?
I have bad taste in outfits. So I want
That's fine. That's fine. It wasn't just about what she wore. What was the purpose of her coming out and having that conversation with her audience like that? Not just about what she wore, what
not
she
even
said, and what was the
what
purpose
you're
of it.
referring to at this point, and I also don't see how it's relevant.
Yeah, I want to jump in here, Blake. I appreciate you being here. I think it takes a lot of guts to face, this crowd. I know, it can get volatile. I appreciate everybody staying calm the best you can. I have a couple questions, and they're more in a general sense, and probably three. I wanted to know. I've always wanted to know. Have you ever considered for a moment or thoroughly the possibility that someone has been deceiving you, that there are deceptions and misdirection and untruth? And do you think that our government or CIA, FBI, in the history, we know that they're capable of that? Have you considered that at all?
Uh, you're gonna have to be more specific.
Have you considered that there are deceptions and you are being misled and that something happened other than what what the FBI and the bureaus want are the narrative that they're putting out, what they're
I've
saying? Have you
always,
considered the
I've consistently
possibility?
said what I would say is I would be open to more people having foreknowledge of Tyler Robinson's plan to shoot Charlie than the. I mean, basically, we're acting under the. Currently, the charges seem to be that he acted alone with no one else knowing. I would be open to the possibility that he had talked about this with other people and they failed to find that, whether that was due to Tyler successfully deleting things, incompetence in their ability to find it, lack of hustle in finding it. Who knows? I've always been open to that possibility, and I would love it if they. I would hope that they've exhausted every investigative angle in that part, but on the specific fact of this shooting, I do not believe I am being misled. I believe the evidence is very strong that Tyler Robinson is the shooter, that he committed the shooting for the reasons stated, that he had a left-wing motivation and he regarded Charlie as some sort of figure of hate, that he was in a strange relationship with a kind of a semi-trans furry boyfriend, and that probably helped politically radicalize him. And so he committed this shooting. I believe the evidence for that is very strong. In fact, I feel the questions about SD cards and questions about how fast people are walking and questions about who's in an SUV at what time are really muddying the waters and getting away from what I think is, in fact, pretty clear. Which, let's see what we have. We have multiple camera angles of a specific person being at the scene of the shooting before, during, and after it. We have text messages sent by this person. We have this person being identified by family members when they had not been found otherwise as a suspect by the police themselves and being turned in for that reason. We have the police finding specific things like finding a machine that can be used to etch messages on rounds when we found etched messages on rounds that were in that rifle. We have DNA evidence. I think that the totality of this points overwhelmingly towards, if you want to call it the official story, we'll call it the official story. I think the evidence points to that. I am not
And
a person who rejects all alternative theories for things, but what I told Charlie while he was alive and what I have told people since is you actually have to be willing to weigh evidence, and you cannot allow your brain to fill in details that do not exist. And a general trend I would say I see with people who are too enthusiastic for conspiracies is that their brains are overactive in filling in details where in fact nothing exists.
can
So
you give me an
to provide a
example?
specific
I appreciate
to
that
provide a,
answer.
to provide a specific example of this, when people are going after Mikey because he was holding his hand up to his ear, that's all you have. He held his hand up to his ear, which would make sense because a very loud crack had gone off, and a lot of people will reflexively do that, and then they might not pull it down once they're also realizing there's a shooting and things happen. And yet I feel that people have allowed their brain to fill in stuff that, if you think about it, doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the idea that he was on the phone with someone. Like, I guess the idea is he was right there, and then the shooting happens, and he's like, time to call it in to whoever, to Zog or something, and he's on the phone calling it in. And in fact, there's no evidence for that, and there's no reason to believe it, and yet people harassed him extensively because of that. And that's
Sure.
one example.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And what other leads have you investigated or looked into aside from what you've just stated there? What alternate leads and information have you investigated? And until you do that, how can you, I mean, we can all get stuck in confirmation bias. I understand
I
what you're saying,
hear on
but
radio
what
show
other
a lot.
information have you really thoroughly considered and looked into?
And hi, Blake. This is Brandy Siciliani. I'm here with Teresa. I have a question for you. So Charlie said that he has no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he texted people saying, I think they're going to kill me. And this was a couple days, if not the day before, that he got assassinated. Have you guys not considered that maybe there was foreign involvement?
Well, first of all, since you interjected over that other question, I would say that I am a producer for a radio show, and investigating crimes is the job of our police. And I believe the police in this case have done a thorough and, in my opinion, quite concrete job on this, which is a reason I am willing to believe that Tyler Robinson is guilty. It is, in fact, not my job to personally go and investigate every alternative theory that someone can come up with,
But why aren't you open to it?
especially when the evidence, as far as I can tell, seems extremely strong. If the evidence were extremely weak, I would probably reconsider my position. But I don't think the evidence is weak. I think the evidence is strong.
I think we're all here because we don't think it's strong. And I mean, you can say it's strong, but I mean, it's actually really
What
weak.
I would say is, I think a lot of people are tethered to the idea that there is a conspiracy, that Tyler Robinson is innocent, that someone else is responsible, that there is a plot. And I think once they've tethered themselves to that position, I don't think anything will ever move them off of it. And so, perhaps against my better judgment, I came here to talk to people, but I think most people who've decided down this course will literally never be convinced otherwise, no matter what it is.
Have
Are
And
you
you being
have you
convinced though?
considered foreign involvement? And that's my last question.
I have not seen any reason to believe there would be foreign involvement. I don't think there's any evidence of it.
Okay, so when Charlie was saying, I think they're going to kill me, you really think he was referring to leftist transgender furries?
Well, yes, because I've spoken to Charlie, and Charlie expressly actually did say to me, I don't have a.
So you're going to go on the record right now and say that Charlie was referring
I
to
have said,
leftist transgenders,
I have said,
not Israel.
I'm not going on the record today because I have said this publicly before that Charlie expressed worry that a pro transgender person might do violence against him because he saw that happen.
So you are stating right
So,
now that Charlie was not referring to Israel.
well, I first of all, I actually haven't even seen this supposed text message that you're referring to and claiming that
Really?
I'm speaking about. I'm speaking. People are saying like Charlie was texting everybody the night before that he worried he was going to be assassinated. That's just not
But you've
true. As
seen the
like,
screenshot of the group text, him saying he was leaving the pro-Israel cause, correct?
yes, I have seen that.
Would you agree
And
Say
that?
Andrew Kovich
you love
was in
to
that
say
group chat.
we discussed that chat in detail all the way back in.
And so, if we were looking at this in a purely objective, like if we didn't have, let's just say we didn't have Tyler Robinson, right? We got to look at motive. Would you agree that Charlie was the most influential voice amongst young conservatives and Gen Z as it pertains to Israel on the right?
I think he was a very influential voice. I don't know how you'd measure he was the
Okay, and
most
so then
influential.
if Charlie was receiving millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors who he was complaining about in that very same text that I am referring to, correct?
Okay, I mean Charlie had donors who got mad when he criticized MLK. So did like the pro MLK
But
people.
MLK didn't give him $2 million or $3 million or $5
I
million.
didn't say MLK. Like Charlie had donors, and donors expressed their points of view on things.
Okay, but so can we agree
Like
that
I think I don't agree here. Like we are getting tethered on this point where people are just asserting like it makes sense.
I'm just asking
that
you, I'm trying to see if you will be objective and admit that it's a possible
if
motive.
Charlie had friction with donors over Israel, that somehow translates to that's who had him murdered. That
That's
doesn't
not what I
follow.
said. Possible
Again,
motive.
I have a more
no evidence
simple and
for this.
civilized question
You
here.
say, imagine if we didn't have Tyler. Well, the good news is we do have Tyler, and we have evidence against him.
But the story doesn't hold up under scrutiny. That's why we're
I believe
looking
the
at
story is
alternatives.
excellently under scrutiny. I believe we have camera footage of him on the campus from multiple angles. We have DNA evidence. We have a murder weapon.
I've seen the Bigfoot pictures are more clear than the ones we have of him on campus.
That is just factually not true.
Wait, are you saying that you can positively ID Tyler from any of the images that have been publicly released?
I think that the video they were showing today, where it shows the guy and when he first arrives on campus in a car that is confirmed to be one owned by Tyler Robinson. The person who gets out of it looks like Tyler Robinson.
Have you seen
A face that resembles Tyler Robinson's? I think it seems quite likely that person is
quite
Tyler
likely,
Robinson.
but not a positive ID, and we're talking about someone's life here. Have you seen Lance Twiggs? You know what he looks like?
You would do you apply the standard to literally anything else in
a
your
murder
life?
case? I apply extremely high standards.
I actually don't think you do. I don't think it's likely that in any other murder case, if we have a person who arrives in that person's car, gets out, and has the same body shape and same face as that person, and you would need a powerful amount of evidence to indicate that it is not that person. And we have no indicating it is not that person.
Have you seen any?
I have
Have
a
you seen?
question
Have you
for
seen?
Blake.
I have one last.
Wait, hold on, Chris. Let me go first.
Have you seen
Yeah.
photos of
Nice.
Lance Twiggs? Like,
yeah.
they are nearly identical in facial structure and in stature. I mean, nearly identical. The only difference is one has longer hair than the other. But if you're wearing a hat, you can't tell how long the hair is. So, in sense, Lance Twiggs' DNA is on both. We found out today is on both the screwdriver and the towel that wrapped the gun. Right. then we might have the wrong person. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of evidence to suggest Tyler Robinson may have not either acted alone, or it might not have been him at all. It might have been his roommate who was actually the furry, right? So it seems like, given that, since they look nearly identical, but you can't positively ID them, they just, it has a facsimile, right? That you, it said yourself, you wouldn't say I positively ID him, but it looks like him, right? Well, it also looks like Lance Twiggs. Why are you not entertaining that line of inquiry, given all that we know?
Well, as far as the possibility that, well, if this is the case, if you, what you're asserting is true, it wouldn't even be that we have the wrong person. It would be that actually Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs are essentially colluding, and Tyler is colluding with Lance to take the fall for him.
Why
In
does it
that case,
have to be
in
Tyler
that case,
Robinson?
in that case, they are both the murderer. They both planned and took part in and helped cover up this murder. And then
Blake, can I ask
they
you a
also
very important
have
question
the evidence
involving this?
of them. And I will say,
Just-
I am open. I am actually, in fact, quite open to the possibility that Lance Twiggs had advanced knowledge of this murder, and I strongly suspect the police have investigated that, and it is possible that they may suspect it themselves, but they don't feel they have the evidence to prove that, which, if they were very diligent about covering that up, that would be possible. People have thrown out that, oh, are do the texts seem to be like designed to throw suspicion away from Lance?
I've
I
never
would be
said that.
open to that possibility.
Well,
But
because
even in that case, Tyler Robinson participated in the planning and execution of the murder of my
so you're
friend
not
Charlie.
open to
And
Tyler
so
Robinson being
he is
innocent of this
justified
crime. You're not open
for
to
that.
that.
Blake, are you open to the fact that you may be tethered to your narrative just like we are tethered to our own narrative and we both may be wrong?
Of course, but that's why you always have to
Okay.
step back and consider what is the actual
Right.
evidence that we have. And in contrast,
So what if
a lot of
there's a possibility,
a
just
lot
think about this.
excuse me,
There's a
other
possibility
theories,
that
they start with
something may have happened that you may not understand because it is over your pay grade, over my pay grade, over all of our pay grades, and it has nothing to do with some little boy, and it has something to do with something that is way above our pay grades. Do you at least accept that possibility?
I think that there is no evidence for that possibility.
Well, Blake, Charlie literally said, I have no choice but to leave the pro Israel cause, yet Turning Point USA is so pro Israel right now. That is not what Charlie said before he died. Why are you guys going against what Charlie wanted?
And that's evidence.
What have we said that is any different from what Charlie said?
You guys
Virtually
are
everything that
clearly
came out of your
very
mouth.
pro Israel right now.
What,
Very, very pro Israel. I don't think anyone can say
what
that
have
that's
we
not
done?
true.
What have we done in the last 8 months that is, in your opinion, pro-Israel in a way that is not compatible with something Charlie himself said or did?
It seems like you guys are very pro the war in Iran, which Charlie was not.
Wait. Hold on. Can I cut in real quick?
Give me an example.
Hold on. Can I cut in real quick?
He just said it. The war with Iran. He was against the war in Iran. He just said it.
Okay, what does Turning Point say? Point cheerleaded the war with Iran like maximally?
Erica said herself.
Maximally.
She said herself she's okay with the war of Iran.
What
She was asked that.
What did she say?
She was asked, "What do you think about the war on Iran?" She said, "I'm all for it."
Who asked her that? Where was this?
There was a recording of her saying that at a school.
Let's not be dumb here. You guys are definitely very pro whatever Trump says, and Charlie
Hold on,
would
let
have
me
been
answer the
vocal
question
against
though.
it. Okay.
What about Thomas Massey?
This is something I've said publicly, and so I'll say it again. Here's what we've said. When the war with Iran began, I said this is something that Charlie would have fiercely argued against before it happened. I believe that absolutely. Charlie would have been very opposed to launching the war. I said that Charlie also would almost certainly, he would oppose boots on the ground. He would oppose an aggressive pursuit of regime change. So we have said on the show, we have repeatedly said that we suspect the war is unpopular. We have young people on our show. Every time we have young people on our show, like chapter leaders and the like, we ask them, how do you guys feel about the war? How do other people on your campus feel about the war? And we do that because they tend to respond, it's not popular. And we feel obliged to help communicate that message that this is at a minimum, a very politically tough war for us to sell. Before the war began, we said if President Trump is going to launch an effort against Iran, he's going to need to make the case more strongly than he has so far. We said that. We have said we believe President Trump should seek an off ramp from the war. We have cheerleaded every time that one of those off ramps appears to be in the offing, like when they began negotiating this recent peace deal. Every time we have said we are in favor of finding a way to exit this war. And we have said we believe Charlie is not with us, so we do not know exactly what Charlie would do, but we believe that is what Charlie would do, that he would be urging the president to find an off ramp for the war and to focus back on domestic issues. But what we've also said is that when Operation Midnight Hammer happened a year ago, that Charlie had been opposed to escalation with Iran at the time, but that once the president did it and signaled that it was a limited intervention, Charlie praised the president for it, and he said he supported the way he went about it. So what we have said is Charlie would have argued against this war, but he also was a supporter of the president, and he would try to find ways to guide the president in a direction that he supports. He would not disavow the president. He would not, if pick your word, crash out over it. He would not turn permanently against the president because President Trump did something that he disagreed with. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe Charlie actually would have reacted a different way. I have said that. What I can only do though is I can say how Charlie behaved while he was alive and how I, as someone who knew him well, believe he might have handled this. I have always been very frank about that. And
Blake,
people have said that we cheerlead this war maximally. People have said we're massively pro regime change. When people say that, they are lying. And when people lie about that sort of thing, it gives me the sense that they aren't really looking for the truth. They're just looking for ways to attack people.
Blake, I have a quick question if you don't mind. I'll be very quick. It's just for you. My question is that is there a reason why TPUSA and yourself and maybe Erica aren't hounding the FBI to investigate this to make sure they have the right problem? I'm
How do you
not
know that we
saying
haven't?
Tyler
How do you
Robinson's
know that
not
we haven't?
involved. I'm not saying that Lance Twiggs is not, but I've never heard anything from anyone involved with TPUSA urging the FBI or anyone, or even urging Trump or anyone to investigate and make sure that it's fully investigated,
Okay, Ken,
with no stone unturned.
how do you know we
That's
haven't?
what I want to know.
How do you know we haven't? All of us, a lot of
Well, you haven't
we have
publicly.
vast
I mean, I would
ability
expect
to
that
back.
that would be something you'd be publicly saying. And I think everyone in this space is thinking the same thing. And I think most of the questions in this space really come to the crux of it: is why aren't you making sure that it's investigated properly with no stone unturned, open book, open slather, open your phones, your devices,
I mean,
everything.
I will
Let the
note.
FBI come in and explore everything. Look at all the look at everything.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Listen
I
to the
think
mic
I've
that's
got the idea.
attached
I think
to.
I've got the idea. What
Yeah.
I will say is, just as an example, you guys have been asking me about this Charlie group chat he was in where he's talking about Israeli donors. Do you recall the reason that that became public? That became public because Andrew sent it to someone in the government, and eventually from there, it made its way to
That's
Candace
not the
Owens, who
same as
released it.
disclosing
The
it
Why,
to the
reason he
public.
Blake?
sent it,
Blake,
the
why
reason,
Can I
why
ask a
did
excuse me,
question,
Andrew
the
guys?
reason
Colvitz
he
send
Can
sent
that
I
to
those,
Joe
can
Kent?
I ask a
the
question,
reason
guys? I've been
those
waiting
Why did he
patiently
messages,
for
send
a
that to
while.
Joe
the
Kent?
reason
Because
Why
no
did
those
Andrew
stone
messages,
Colvitz send that to
unturned.
Joe Kent?
are
Andrew
you guys
actually
going to
said
let
this on his
or not?
stream. He said
One
no
at a time.
stone
We can't hear
unturned.
everybody talking at the same time, bro.
Well, he's
No.
been waiting.
Can I ask a question, guys? I've just
No,
been
no,
waiting a little
because I'm
bit.
trying to answer this one. I said
Yeah, let him
the
answer it.
the
Apologies, Blake.
reason
Sorry.
those messages were sent to a person in the government was, in fact, that Andrew wanted to make sure that every lead was followed up on. And I will say, Andrew, relative to me, was more open to, let's just say, different theories about the case than I would have been. I've
So
always been.
nobody sent that screenshot to Candace before Joe Kent?
I don't. So I don't want to say exactly who sent what to when where, but the reason that those messages were even available by anyone to be sent to Candace is that Andrew had sent them to someone in the government because he wanted it investigated.
Yeah,
Mad Max
Candace Owens has
John.
been feeding you guys
So,
has been
and I
feeding
will
you
say
guys
it's
beds
So
while
a little
it
ridiculous.
must be
I'm it
upsetting
is
then to know
ridiculous to
to hear Joe
say.
Kent say that they didn't actually investigate that and they told him to
That he
back
was shut
off. That
down.
has to be
can we
frustrating.
bring up
Cash Patel literally shut that shit down really
can we
quick.
bring up
Why?
Andrew Wilson because this scumbag's been getting paid from
No, I think it's
TPUSA
an
and
important point.
Zionism.
Wait,
Is
Chris
He
that
brought up
had a
he,
frustrating
We need to
he
to you?
brought
ask
Hang
up
him
on.
Joe
about why he was
Kent.
at
He brought up Joe
TPUSA.
Kent.
Wait.
Yeah, so I wanted to know then is that frustrating to you that Joe Kent was told to stand down?
I will say, in my opinion, it is not. I don't want to dive like deep all over this, but I'll be frank. Even though, as I said, those messages were sent in because he didn't want to leave any stone unturned, I've been frank about myself. I think it's ridiculous to believe that a foreign actor was involved in this, and I think there's no evidence for it. I think there's no
You think that Joe Kent was
whatsoever.
lying about a foreign nexus then?
I believe he is very mistaken about that.
Okay, Blake, then why were Egyptian planes tracking Erica
That is a
and Charlie for
That's a
years?
complete falsehood.
But can
But what do you
I
mean?
read it?
The planes were literally at the
No,
same
no, they were not.
locations.
No, they were not. In fact,
Yes, they are. There's factual
that's an
no,
evidence that
no.
they were. You
accusatory
could
If you look
download
question.
at that,
Flight Radar
don't know what you're
24.
arguing
It's
about.
factual
No,
evidence.
That's
I
accusatory.
So
Let's
no,
let's
since
just ask
since
questions.
Blake
I
will not answer any of my questions, just like want to put it out there. So you just on record called Joe Kent incompetent. That's what you did. You just called Joe Kent incompetent. You are an organization, part of an
No,
organization
he's
that is
not. He
not
already clarified he works for Charlie Kirk's show, not
exactly.
TPUSA.
That's what I'm talking about. Charlie
That's
Kirk Show
not
is
an
an organization. It's a
organization, it's
show.
a company.
So okay, it's a show. You're a show host, Blake. You know what his position was? You're a show host. He was part of the government, head of counterintelligence, telling you, Blake, there's something here. And you, on the other side, Blake, a show host, but a nobody, show host, says, no, Joe, you're incompetent. You're wrong. I'm right. Does that sound right? See, that's where you lose me, Blake. I'm willing to
Blake,
listen to everything you say.
I'm getting a request.
Everybody has the right
Blake,
to their own opinion, though.
Blake, if you
So
don't
let's not accuse the
Blake,
man of anything that he doesn't know anything
Blake,
about.
I'm getting requests to ask you questions from people that are very specific about details of the day of the event. They're very sparse, and I won't badger you about them at all. I'm just there's a lot of people who are listening right now that have questions, and they're sending me requests, and I don't know how long you're going to be here, but they're not a lot. The first question is did you have two phones at UVU that day of the assassination?
um did I have two phones?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And then the other question is why did Blake say he never forget how Mikey said he had to call Erica after Charlie was assassinated? But according to Erica, Mikey called Elizabeth McCoy first, then three-way conference Erica into that call. Does that make sense or no?
Why I don't see how those like are in conflict.
Okay, so let me reread it. Maybe I didn't say it right. Why did Blake say he'd never forget how Mikey said you had to call Erica, but he called Elizabeth McCoy first? So why would he call McCoy first and not Erica? That's the question.
I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The
And
way
then
it
one
happened.
last.
I will say. I will. I actually no. I'm actually not going to give any details on that because I'm not going to disclose what happened on that phone call because I think it's deeply personal, and so I'm not going to say
That's
what
fine.
was said on that call.
That's fine. I'm not
I
gonna
don't
badger you
think
about
there's
it. I promise I wouldn't.
conflict. What I will say is him calling his wife and then that call getting to Erica happened very quickly. It is not like he did a 3-minute phone call with his wife and then called Erica.
I have one last one. It's will you release the audio from the Rode microphone Charlie was wearing after he was killed? And do you
I
have any audio from the mic at all during that day from that microphone?
I mean, we have ample audio of Charlie at that
From
event.
that microphone source, the one that was recorded on the Rode microphone.
I have no idea if that even exists.
Well, you work for Turning Point. Can you have it
I do
released,
not work for
please?
Turning Point, but also I have no idea if that even exists, and I don't know why it would matter.
Because it obviously matters, because there's a conspiracy theory in your opinion that the microphone, I mean, that's the conspiracy theory that it had something to do with his death.
Well, there's no
So if
evidence
you guys could release
any.
the Rode microphone audio, that would maybe clear some things up, because that means that the microphone didn't explode then, right?
Why would that actually? How would that prove anything? Because if it was being recorded,
What do you mean? It would literally just prove the conspiracy theory to be inaccurate. If the microphone didn't explode, you would have the audio, correct?
why would we not have the audio even if it did explode?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? If it exploded, then you wouldn't have the audio. That's the whole point.
No, it transmits to the device. These are Bluetooth, and so it would have stayed. Yeah, it's a ridiculous line of questioning. How good faith of Blake, by the way. What a good answer.
Who even is speaking?
Sorry, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. What I'm saying is first of all, I don't know if that exists. Second, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever of an exploding microphone, and there's ample evidence. Trust me, I was there. That Charlie was killed by a gunshot, and I think it is frankly like, it, I
Have you seen John Bray's video?
n-
Why does Charlie's shirt move before he's even struck in the neck by whatever hit him?
I have a request in all of this. Check out John Bray videos. Just look at it. You don't have to believe it. I'm not asking you to buy into it.
Yeah, we're not
Just look
trying to
at
be
it.
rude. I just have you seen John Bray's videos, Blake?
no, I don't know who that is.
Are you aware that
Okay.
there was a gentleman caught at the crime scene the following day, and disguised as a doctor, and he was brought out with a rifle by the trooper who was arresting him? Are you aware of that?
I don't know the details of this.
You don't know who
Okay, Blake, this
you
is
don't know
a
who Kennington Russell is?
Doesn't ring a bell.
So this is what, like, the interest, right? So I just told you this is on video, right? This has been, now it's starting to get widely reported. Behind the crime scene tape, a man was disguised as a doctor with a rifle, and you're not interested in if he was involved at all.
I mean, you said it was the day after. Why would that matter?
Well, I mean, within 20, if he, let's just say that he was there and there was so many police everywhere, he stayed in hiding until the following day. He ran from cops when they saw him, right? So he was behind crime scene tape in an active crime scene, which means that he could plausibly, actually likely, already have been there. He posted on social media on the 10th that he was at UVU, right? And then he was caught there the next day behind crime scene tape, dressed as a doctor with a rifle, right? Not a small rifle, not a toy rifle, a rifle very similar to the one they found Tyler Robinson with, except for it had a wooden grain stock.
Is it the same model? Is it the same type of rifle?
I don't know exactly what kind of rifle it is. All I
I,
know is that the
I
arresting officer was carrying it with the
to.
strap wrapped around his arm, and it had an evidence tag on it. No one from TPUSA has mentioned that once.
Why would we mention it?
Wow.
Okay, Blake, George Zinn literally had to go to the hospital for chest pain, I believe. And he said that he was paid to be a distraction, to be a decoy. Why are you guys not interested in figuring out who he was paid by to say, hey, I shot Charlie Kirk?
Well, so even that day, actually, I recall hearing that because we thought that we originally heard that they had a suspect in custody, like right away, and then we were told, even I believe by the end of that day, that in fact that was a dead end, and that this guy was he's a gadfly on campus, like he's a troublemaker, and I think they maybe even had I think he might have been banned on campus, and he was just there, because there was a big crowd, so they weren't focused on that.
But aren't you a little curious of what he meant by he was paid to do that?
I mean, not really. Not once you have the explanation of he is a known troublemaker and a guy who also lied that he did the shooting in order to help the person who did it get away, and he appears to have genuinely, spontaneously done that, and he seems like the kind of person who would do that. Personally,
But it was an immediate
personally,
reaction. It had to have been planned. Like
no, I don't
it
think
was
it had.
so
I don't
instant.
think it had to be planned if you're that type of person. I will say, I do think he should be criminally charged because I think if he
He
spontaneously
was
just.
criminally charged and convicted. He's in prison for it.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's great.
Well, no, he's in prison for child
No,
Oh,
pornography
he
on
was
yeah.
his
Yeah,
also
phone.
he's
no
not
no
even in
he
prison.
was
He's
also
actually
no
in
he
a
was also
facility.
convicted.
Both.
He was also convicted for obstructing justice, which is what they called what he did at Charlie Kirk's assassination by saying that he did it when he didn't.
Oh, that's
That
lovely.
was obstruction justice.
I would have
But it
gone
was
further.
also for
Probably
pedophilia.
would- I probably would have charged him with like accessory to murder. But you know, I don't know the laws of the state of Utah.
But if
You know,
somebody
this can
did
be applied to Terrell too. Like this obstruction can be
if
also
somebody
applied to
did if
Terrell.
somebody did pay
That is
him,
a ridiculous thing. I'm sorry.
if somebody did pay him, right?
I
It's at least a lead worth following up on.
Anyway, I will say it's late. Thank you to Louisiana for hosting this. I'm
Sure.
going to migrate to another space because I think there's
Blake,
been
wait,
a
can
lot
I ask
of
you a question
interruptions on this one. So
before
I
you
want
go?
to have
Can
one.
I ask
I'll
you
continue this for a bit longer, but I want it to be in one where I have a little more control over what's going on. So
it's
I'm
sick.
joining a new space. You guys
Well,
can
can I
talk.
ask you a question before you
We love you, Blakey.
I'm glad
Would
you
you
came.
be able to do this again?
I appreciate you coming on, but can I ask you a question? So what do you think was the
He just
best?
dropped down. He's done.
Oh, oh
No,
God.
that was perfect. I got everything I needed.
Look, I swear to you guys, like I just realized, I swear to you, 5 minutes ago that Blake Neff was on the space. Because I was texting and like talking and managing and doing all the things, and I was like, wait, does that say Blake Neff? I had no idea. Like, why? I swear to you, I was not paying attention. I'm like,
I let him up, Louisiana, and I didn't know that you didn't
I
realise.
had
And
no idea.
now, by the
I
way,
want to
I
say
just wanted to
thank
say
you.
Myron is live streaming at the moment, just so you know, with his
I want to
spaces.
say
So,
thank you for allowing us
Sure,
and me particularly the opportunity to ask
absolutely.
those questions of him because I have been itching to for a really really long time, and
No,
I really appreciate it. Thank you so
This
no.
was
much.
Anytime.
brilliant.
I'm sorry you dropped out. I had no idea. Like Kelly
No,
texted.
you're good. You're good.
I
Yeah.
maybe we'll do it again tomorrow night.
The reason why he left, I'm gonna be like brutally honest here. The reason why he left is because people asked a lot of retarded fucking questions and made a lot of retarded claims. Like, I'll just be very blunt about this. Like the Elizabeth chick said, "Oh, what would you want to be convicted if you were in Tyler's shoes with the evidence that was presented?" Like,
Yeah,
well,
you know
it's
why I asked
preliminary.
that?
Okay,
You
hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying because I wrote this down as you were saying it because it was so dumb. We're in
Oh,
a
okay. It
preliminary
was so
hearing.
dumb. Who
There's
are
no
you to
probable
judge
cause.
You
what
don't
my
have to be a
Here
questions
we
dick,
are?
go.
dude.
Here
Just
we
try
go.
and speak
Here we go.
respectfully,
Don't do that,
please. He's
Myron.
Yeah,
still
can she
playing.
Yeah,
hold it?
yeah.
Can she
Let him
control
talk.
herself for
Let
2
him talk.
seconds?
Let him talk.
Control herself for 2 seconds? Okay. So I thought it was crazy that you said, "Oh yeah, would you want to be Tyler right now and be convicted?" Then he says, "Wait, like be in Tyler's shoes or whatever." And you're like, "No, it's like you want to be him." It's like what? That doesn't make sense. But either way, regardless, that's a ridiculous question to ask because we're in a preliminary hearing, which means probable cause hasn't even been established yet. This case hasn't been indicted. He hasn't even
Exactly.
pled guilty yet. So okay, so
Exactly. Are
I,
you like
okay,
okay,
but like that's a ridiculous.
finish your thought how dumb my question was so I can actually answer it.
Yeah, because we're for you to ask that question when we're not even where we're still establishing probable cause is like ludicrous. It's like it
Great.
makes no sense. So,
Great.
and the
You
other
want
thing
to
I was
know
gonna
why I
say,
asked it? Now you're going to stop talking and actually
well, I was
hear
gonna
why I
continue on.
asked it?
I was gonna continue on with what I was gonna say. Then you can respond. I wanted to finish my entire thought. Okay.
Sure.
So that was a ridiculous question, and then Diligent followed up and said, "Hey, well, doesn't everyone have the right to, be a presumption of innocence?" That is true, yes, but that comes from the court. Blake can go ahead and sit here and say, "I feel like he's guilty" all day. Like he doesn't have to presume he's innocent because that's not his duty. And at the end of the day, this is an investigation that's being done by law enforcement. They're going to have way more information than the rest of us. So it's like, let's wait until all the evidence comes out and we see what happens. Like we go ahead and we just jump to
That's
conclusions
not
like,
what
oh, well, it's
TPUSA
going
is
to be
doing.
That
XYZ.
that is not
Hold on,
what they are doing. That was the point of
hold
my
on,
question.
hold on, hold on. I know you don't understand probable cause and hearings and everything else like that.
No,
Let me
this is
finish
are
what I'm
you
saying.
This
kidding
is
me?
are
This
And
you
then
are you okay
long
in head right
this
everyone's
now?
is
losing their
just
mind.
this is
Everyone's losing
just
their
a
mind.
very long monologue,
Yeah,
Myron.
it's like
Okay.
stop
Uh,
talking for a second and listen. If you're gonna
Number one,
call
your
my
voice is
hold
annoying.
on,
Your voice is annoying and you're stupid.
if you're gonna
I got to
call my
finish saying what I'm
question
saying.
stupid,
Hey,
You're
guys,
stupid.
you're gonna have to start putting your hand up, and
It,
please, one at a time,
it is.
please,
It
please.
is stupid. And
yeah.
then,
So are
and
you
then the
done or are you
water.
gonna go forever with
Bro,
your
bitch,
Bible?
bitch, bitch, shut up. Well, I'm fucking talking. Like you're
Don't tell
ridiculous.
her to
Speak,
shut up,
please,
You're
okay?
Myron.
fucking.
Just,
Myron, don't
just
be
Who
speak
are
the
It's
truth,
you?
evolving. Can
Who
you
are
please.
guys
you
just
to
have? Let's
talk to me in
come on.
We got.
any?
Honestly, I don't even know why you bitches are in here. You should all be fucking making sandwiches. I'm.
Myron, we're not doing this, and you're not going to be disrespectful at all. You can ask a question to Elizabeth and be respectful and say what you have to say
But he's having followers, but they're all young.
and just let her speak. That's all.
They're all young kids.
to be honest with you, I don't even know why these women are here talking in the first place. They're fucking retarded and they should be making sandwiches. If I'm going to be very blunt here.
Hey, get out of
I'll
here.
fucking,
Get out of here, you
whoa.
misogynist weirdo. Get out of here.
No, I removed him. I removed him.
Good.
He's
Yeah.
So
Bye
if
bye.
someone is wondering,
You're done.
He was cool.
sorry
Myron
to,
defending Blake Neff was not on my bingo card. I gotta say.
yeah. He seems like a moron, but anyway, I don't care what he says, but if someone is wondering why I ask this question, we are here to understand why is it that TPUSA and these people are constantly pointing fingers on Tyler Robinson as he already did the crime, he should be in jail. Now, which one of you is willing to argue with me that's not true? Which one of you? I'm happy to go into that argument. This is why I asked if you were Tyler Robinson. I didn't even say if you were Tyler Robinson. I said if you were Blake Neff. And if you were on trial right now, figuring out what's going to happen with your life. You're in a freaking death row, person. You're going to die if you lose this. Okay? So if you were on a death row in a huge organization that you have no power against, you don't even have your lawyers privately hired. State is representing you. And this ginormous organization that there is taking millions of dollars from all these different donors are saying every single day with all these mouthpieces, whether it's Fox News or other things, saying Tyler Robinson is guilty. Guilty. Shut up, people. Do not question this. He's gonna walk. He's gonna walk. Do not question anything. Candace Owens is crazy. Elizabeth Lane is crazy. Everyone's crazy. He literally tried to lie in my face right now. I'm the one who spoke to the parents. I'm the one who spoke to the grandma. He literally attempted to say that, oh, parents think and grandpa thinks that he's guilty. How dare you? Have you ever spoken a word to these people? How
Can
about you
I ask
trust?
a question for you? I'm not, I'm not going to represent him or whatever. When it comes to homicide, when there's a body and somebody dies, the easiest thing to do is to pin a killer on the person to get them out of there, so it's less paperwork for everybody else.
But is that
So
the right way? You know that
that's
1%
not
of
no,
every
no, 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 no.
accused,
Listen. That's not the point. The point is when there's a body, the key is to pin that body on somebody to get that out of the way. So everybody in whatever organization, whether it's a crime organization or whether it's the feds or the state police, to get them out of the way so they can focus on the next
exactly.
thing.
I agree with you. 100%. I
So I
agree with you.
just
That's
wanted
why
to
we
know
ended up with Lee
that
Harvey Oswald
nobody
today.
cares about if it was somebody in their shoes. Their goal, whoever they is to just pin somebody on the body and get them and the body out of the way.
But
That's all I'm saying.
how is that justifying TPUSA? So what you're saying is let's just pin it on whoever so we can move and make money. That's what you're
That's the
saying.
goal of
So if
any organization, is all I'm saying.
yeah,
Whether it's
no, I agree with the motivation, and that's
okay,
where we have a problem, right? All of us who are trying to actually get the right killer here and actually not have another Kennedy case here
when
is
other
why we're
parties don't
fighting.
care about getting the right killer, I said the key is to pin the body on somebody to get them out the way so they can move on. There's a lot of resources that are being like spent because of A, B, and C. So think about this. Regardless of what, say he actually did not do it, but say Israel did not do it either. Nobody cares about finding out who the third party is that may have done it. The best thing to do is pin it on whoever, get their asses out of the way so they can focus on something else. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't disagree. I have a problem with that. That's all I'm saying. We agree on the what's going on, like logistics. You're right,
All
exactly.
right.
I'm
That's the
just gonna
goal.
cut
But
in
but
because
Aaron, that only works if it's not a celebrity and someone that's like a superstar. Like
No
this
matter
is where
no
it's a
matter
bad
what the
inter.
body is, the key is to get the body out of the way because it's null and void now because the
Guys,
body can't come back.
yeah,
Then it's other bodies, it's other people who got killed. Resources, keyword, resources and time. Every organization has to focus on getting this out of the way so they can focus their resources and time on other things. That's all I'm saying.
so
so
real
let
quick,
me just say something because I was waiting forever, and you know what pisses me off, and I'm sorry. Thank you, Louisiana girl, for bringing me up. It's not you, it's me. When I was up here earlier, and Blake was up here, and then I had an emergency. Now he's gone, which I knew was going to happen, and because whatever.
Because what I wanted to ask him was, since he says he was at the hospital, did Brian Harper really lead the code? You know, these lies that are being told to us about Brian Harper leading code, telling doctor what to give medicine, all of this stuff, you know, how they didn't call 911. Nobody brought that up. And it's just so
I brought it up.
frustrating.
I asked about Brian Harper. I brought it up.
So I guess I just didn't hear that part, but I wanted to ask you, you know, with my nursing background and everything, because this is the part that I've been really stuck on with this case, is because this is my wheelhouse. This is where I would call myself, you know, an expert for, you know, all intents and purposes of like what wasn't done with Charlie Kirk in the last minutes of his life, and how these people think that that's absolutely acceptable to take that man and not try to save his life, but toss him in the back of an SUV and drive away with him like that. And that was the point that I really wanted to drive in, but he's gone. It is what it is. Maybe one day I'll get that opportunity again. The second thing, and then I'll end up leaving and y'all could do whatever. Anybody coming up here who has not spent months, because everybody up here, I pretty much know y'all faces. Definitely you, Mr. Let Go, because I actually was going to maybe look the other way with this, and you and Baron were two of the people who brought me back. So I know y'all faces and everything. So
I
y'all been
appreciate
on
you.
this, huh?
I appreciate you.
Yeah, no
I
sweat.
recognize your voice, so I've seen your content because I recognize your voice. Send me a DM, hit me up. We can work together.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
guess
who
it's a
you
bit.
are, but I recognize your voice, so I've seen your content before.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. You might have to follow me back because the message option is not available for me with you. It's funny because I was actually trying to get in your live today. I was like, hold on, I'm on my way, and then you shut it down. So anyway, but that,
I'm going live
that
tomorrow, so yeah, like look for me. I'm around.
yeah, but open up the DM. So then, yeah, I was like, you don't even understand. Like, thank you. Like that means a lot because, like I said, it was you and Baron
Send me a
that
DM
kind
on
of.
Instagram. It's I am_Mr. Lego. Send me a DM.
I'm not on Instagram. It's easier for
I'm on Twitter. Somebody told me to come in here. I'm not,
that's
I don't even know how to work the DMs on Twitter.
all you got to do is okay. All right, I'll find you on Instagram.
But
When I
look,
find
this
you,
is my point for everybody. One, I wanted to build some type of camaraderie with Blake so he would want to come back. All of these accusatory questions like, hey, what is this? And then, why? That's not the way to deal with anybody. It makes them not want to come back. The key is to make the person feel comfortable and say, damn, that space was pretty cool. And then they will come back next week, next month, or tomorrow, or whatever. And then now you can ask more questions. But all the accusatory questions would cause the man not to want to come around. And then two, y'all gotta understand, nobody cares about Charlie Kirk like that. And I'm not saying we don't, they don't. And whoever they is, and you have to understand their perspective and say, okay, y'all probably wanted him out of here because of he was going against, the agenda that y'all wanted to go against. You have to understand that and let them have that instead of demonizing them. You can't demonize a person that you're trying to ask questions from. That's
But
all.
but Aaron, also I forgot to ask Blake. Remember Andrew told Candace it was
Mhm.
supposed to be you. What the hell does that mean?
If Candace did not ask what that meant from Andrew, I don't care because think about
What do you
that.
mean though? You don't
He
care.
has,
Like
he has,
it matters a lot though. It was supposed to be
he
you.
has Andrew's
It was
number.
supposed to be you that was killed by a transgender furry. I don't
No,
think
no, no, no,
so.
no, no. Think about this. If she wanted to ask that question, she has Andrew's phone number, and she was in contact with Andrew through this whole time. Probably not now, but at least for a good 6 months, she was talking about she would text Andrew, and he would text her back. If she didn't ask the question to him, I'm not worrying about what it is because apparently it's not that important to her. And or either he answered the question and she's just not going to answer why. But at the end of the day, she has his phone number. So she didn't ask him that question. I'm not worried about it. That's all I'm
Maybe
saying.
she did, but he just didn't respond. We don't know.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I just remembered that. Well, someone that I'm talking to right now reminded me of that and should have asked Blake that.
Guys, I have a question for all of you, like whoever wants to answer this. So Blake on this space just said something very interesting and he kind of got away with it, which it's upsetting. He said, again, we established Blake is a simple host that he kind of calls himself that. Like, I work for Charlie Kirk's show, I'm just a simple host. Great. So no real training in intelligence or counterintelligence or anything. No, nothing other than just a host. Okay. He challenges a guy who worked for the CIA, who was the head of counterintelligence of this country, and says, "Oh, I think he's wrong." Joe can't. So Blake, a simple host from Charlie Kirk's show, has the like this idea of how powerful his brain and his analysis are to challenge a guy who's literally a military, a CIA
I
guy,
mean,
and counterintelligence shit. I mean, does it sound weird to you guys? Like
I
this?
not
Yeah,
not
I
yeah,
loved your response. That was amazing, actually.
not to me at all because you got
But
to. It doesn't sound.
so if
And
you
she
think
said, wait,
somebody is
you're just
bad and the other person is smarter than them, you still have the right to say, "Yo, I don't like what you did," or "I don't like what you said."
Not what it is, Mr. Lecco. If I could just say, that's exactly how he's going to answer it. Okay, these people are under like this type of like, I don't know if whatever that was that Charlie Kirk was under that made him go on Megyn Kelly and like get full, almost unhinged, like dozens of texts, Megan, that keep texting me and everything else. They're under the same thing too. Okay, so you think that he's gonna go outside of his allowed rhetoric and say, "Yeah, I was wondering what Joe Kent saw as well, or whatever." Of course, he's gonna say, "Yeah, no, I think he's wrong." He better say that if he knows what's good for him. Like that's just, I don't expect much out of these people. I really don't. I mean,
And that's
I
what
agree.
I'm saying.
I
We have
agree.
to just have a conversation and respect the because he said we're tethered to an idea. He's tethered to an idea also. Let's have a conversation from over here to over there instead of trying to either demonize him for being over there or trying to get him to come over here. No, let's just have a conversation with him over there. Let him stay over there and let us stay over here, and we respect each other's perspective instead of demonizing the other person. That's all I'm saying. Because he was demonizing us.
he definitely was demonized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like but we were doing it to him too.
Yeah, he was gaslighting people and lying about stuff too. So that's where we really there has to be a boundary somewhere, right? Like when we say no, where was the evidence that parents or grandparents actually sat there in front of court these last 2 days? Because again, this is just the beginning of this whole thing. We don't even know what's gonna come. And trust me, you're not gonna know in the next 3 days, okay? So he's sitting there and assertively saying this happened. No, no, this is where you chime in and say, you don't get to lie. We can have a nice conversation here. We can
Wait,
agree to
why can't he
disagree.
lie? Why can't he lie? Let him lie. Just have a conversation with a person. Like you get what I'm saying? People have the right to lie. People have the right to say whatever they want to say. Just
Well,
have the
great,
conversation with the
great. Then
person.
they have to be okay when people call them liars. And when Candy says you are
Don't
you're a
have
liar, he cannot come out and bitch about that, which he does all the time.
My question to you is why are you going to call a person a liar? Let them lie. See, the more a person shows you who they are, the better you understand where they are. If they're lying, let have the conversation and know that they're lying. Accusing somebody of lying, whether they're lying or not, never gets you anywhere. It's only going to get an argument. That's all I'm saying.
I
I
think
think
that's a
he
good way to
exposed
think
himself
about
pretty well. I think he
it.
exposed himself real well.
Because the
Um,
thing about it is, don't we want him or Andrew COVID or anybody else to come in one of these spaces, Erica Kirk, to speak these have these conversations? You
Absolutely
don't
right. Once
you
again,
don't think we're gonna go back to all of the people and say, oh, I went into a space and it was a clusterfuck and everybody's yelling and arguing and demonizing. Don't you think he's gonna go back and tell his experience to the other ones?
I really don't think that anyone was demonizing him when people were challenging him. That's very simple. I don't know, like been in many
This was
debates where
them.
people will challenge you. You can't expect you can't be a snowflake and be like, oh, don't challenge my thoughts. Let me just get away with whatever I want and you are here. Like if we're having a debate, let's have a debate. Very simple.
Nobody.
I totally agree with you, Elizabeth. I just want to
I
jump
don't.
in right here and
I
ask
don't
why
have
no
to.
one ever asked him
It's
any
okay.
questions on his DoD, connections. I mean, he
But do
has
you
some
guys
deep ones.
understand when you want to build some type of relationship with a person, you kind of like gotta see things from their side instead of debating right them. That's all I'm saying. Build a relationship, a cordial relationship with the other person. Then they will want to come back. That is my point. Can we So, get the person to come back? so yeah, Then we can debate. Once they get comfortable with us, because say he comes back, right? And he's like, "Oh, I'm ready to debate with y'all ass. Now let's go." Now we can go crazy. But when you
Can I
first
just jump
meet
in there?
somebody, don't go
Just
crazy on
specify
the first
that that
meet.
relationship has to be built on honesty, man.
No, No, it
Otherwise,
doesn't,
it's
no,
not a
it doesn't.
relationship.
Let me just say this right now, real quick. I'm It sorry. does not. I'm just going to cut because it's called rapport. Yes, That's the word that y'all looking for because called I'm a diplomacy. psych nurse as well. It's called rapport, and we've also watched when they went to interrogate Chris Watts. They didn't come up like, "Yeah, man, we know you killed your wife and you done it out of kids." They didn't come Right. like that. They had to talk to him a certain way and let him keep talking. Yes, And he yes. basically talked himself into a corner. I understand exactly what you're saying. And
My
it goes
question
a
is, why
longer
did he
way.
come in the first place?
No, stop For right there. some Stop right reason, there. and Stop. that's what Stop right there. Stop right there. What y'all have to understand is there was some type of agenda to put him in here, and we can't run
Exactly.
him off. We have to sit back and listen to like, I wonder why he's here, and let him play himself out so we can figure out what the agenda is. But y'all running him off with the arguments where we need to figure out what the agenda is. Why is he in here? What if Erica Kirk came in here? There's a reason why she's in here. We can't just be yelling at her. We need to be like more observant
I
of like,
wasn't arguing with him. I was asking him specific details of what happened on the day, and and I kept getting cut off. And those details matter from the investigation side of who killed Charlie. That's what I was getting at. We had Blake in here as an opportunity, and we
yeah,
might not get it again. And there were specific details from timelines to filling gaps of the timeline on the day. There were certain details that we needed to know, and that was a good opportunity to find out. And that's all I
whatever.
was
Well,
trying to say.
I know for a fact that he contradicted himself at least three good times.
I know,
Yeah, you
and
know, but now,
but
I mean,
there was different
know
things
that.
that we still needed to find out, and the
But
conversation got taken off into tangents that didn't matter. And
But what I'm
yeah,
saying is operating in a thought process of lack. Let me get all these questions in because I might never see him again. Instead of that, build a rapport with the person, be diplomatic, and next thing you know, you might see him in another space or he might
I
come
build
into
a
another space.
rapport through honesty, man. Like they have to be honest, and I'll be honest with them. So
he's never going to
if
be
they
honest with you. You can't
well,
make
then
another
I'm
person
going to
do
push
something
back,
that they
but I'll
don't want
push
to do.
back politely. I don't have to just go ranting and raving at him. I didn't do that.
Yeah, I get you.
So,
No, you didn't do that. I'm just saying this may happen again, is all I'm saying, you know? And I hope to be invited back again if it does. It could be Erica, it could be somebody else, it could be Andrew Kovic, because for him to come in, that means somebody on his side is like, go in there and see what happens. So this
I
right
think he
here,
was coming. I think he was coming to gaslight and deflect us, as well as get us
but what I'm
thinking on a
saying
different
is this
track.
was some type of operation. We have to be aware of
Correct.
that, is all I'm saying.
Correct.
And because it's an operation, they're going to come back again because the operation fell apart. So they're going to try to come back. And we can't just turn around and just go off on them. You're lying to us. Let them lie. Let us just sit back and observe and take in the information. And
Collect
be
the
dramatic.
information.
It's all about information. That's all. It's information gathering instead of.
I feel like we got some good information from him though, or
I think
lack
so too.
thereof.
I think so too.
Well, he definitely showed that he wasn't interested in any other theory or conspiracy theory. I love that. And that term in itself was created by the CIA. So he's not showing his side here. Well, he actually is showing his side here.
But I think he agreed with me when I said, are you open to the thought that
something may have happened to Charlie Kirk that is over your pay grade and you just don't know about it, and you know the boy is literally a patsy and none of us may not know. He said, yeah, I'm totally open to that. And I was looking to dive into that, but then so I was like, all right.
Now you see, and let me just say this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go because I actually do have to go. But thanks for bringing me up. But I didn't hear that part, Mr. Lego, and that is good that he was open to that, because me personally, I think he's scared. You know, so that's the other thing, is like he is scared. Like I would be scared too to be involved with all of this stuff. This isn't a pity thing. It's not an excuse. So when you say something